me just check sound. Make sure everything is alright. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and drop those promos real quick. Yeah, man, it has been a minute.
Yeah.
I'll drop a link here in our chat as well. Oh, this one's got the lyrics. Whoops. There we go. And these two.
My dog is staring at me like, please give me food.
What the dog doing?
The dog is
Alright.
staring at me. The dog is always hungry.
That is the fact.
If I leave food accidentally in my trash can, she will bust down the wall. Well, the little wall I made for her because she's a dachshund. So I have like a little half wall. She's just resting her face on it right now. Pretending that she can't bulldoze it, even though she can.
Oh.
Girl, wrecking crew.
Yep, she is a wrecking crew.
Oh my god, I hydrate already.
Busted.
Dang. Hello, hello. Alrighty. Let us get started then. It has been quite a minute, and yeah, I guess we'll start with a small intro. Hey guys. Okay, cool. Intro's over.
Hi guys. Hey.
But yeah, welcome to session 1 of Broznov's campaign. I guess we'll start off with a bit of the setting of Broznov being this great hustling, bustling city that is just kind of sort of the not the apex, but the height of technology in the realm. The realm being, of course, this, high fantasy world. Here we have this mega major metropolis of a city, well, city-state at this point, that rivals that of its sister nation, Valvadiri, which is kind of the hub of all things magic. But we won't talk about that. We're going to talk about your guys' story and how you fit into this very wild and fast-moving city-state, and see how you overcome many of its obstacles and rise to the very top. And we'll start that with our meetup. Okay, these lyrics are getting in the way. God damn it. I friggin' should have checked. Oh well. I got this one. Also, hello, Ori. Okay, where is it? No. Sorry, it has been such a long time since I've ran, like, the DnD stuff that everything is, like, super scuffed right now.
It has indeed been a bit.
Yeah, it's fine. Just vibing.
Alrighty. So, I'm just gonna kind of go over what we sort of talked in session 0, just to sort of get us fresh back in what you guys are all about, and sort of like what the first session's gonna start off with. So, for the stream's sake, we'll go ahead and start off again. Here we go. Your party gathers at the stomping grounds, the Hooded Hen, a quiet, dingy bar at the back of the end of the toolbox. To many, the place is a home for troublemakers looking to find work and ask little about the money. Here you catch word of a job, a small job from big people. You gather and wait for the contact. The barkeep, a hobgoblin Ugurg, has assured you the big man has vetted you and plans to arrange a meeting soon. Your party gathers in the dimly lit back rooms of the Hooded Hen, a curtained-off area with cutouts crudely built, but effective in keeping words of business in your booth. So, their party gathers. Let's go ahead and get ourselves introduced. Who we got first?
Who do we got first?
Yep.
Who do we got first?
Who wishes to introduce first? Also, I'm a little bit kind of floating here. Whoop. There we go.
Fibble, I think the eldest should go first.
Okay.
Dang.
Thanks for I can't. Thanks for volunteering me. Yeah, but Data, the Dark Elf or Drow that sits there will be she's pretty tall. She has a slender build and has dark gray skin. And she has these like piercing yellow eyes that seem to like stare straight into your soul. Maybe in stark contrast to the the color of her hair. She has this very vibrant dress of nearly neon colors, and on her shoulders and neck and collar is what seems to be these yellow brands that run through that are reminiscent of the stars, though can't really see them in Broznov, so.
Ah,
Nope.
these fabled stars told by sailors.
The heck's the
Those.
sun?
That's the on and off switch that they have at the mountain.
Sorry, how do you spell your character's name?
Says Seiza.
Seiza.
Seiza. Says that. Okay, cool. I'm gonna list that down as well for when I start adding name tags later and get the overlay set up. Hopefully next session. All right.
Why don't I go then? I guess it'd be pretty quick and easy.
Nice.
Taylor the dwarf is just gonna be chilling somewhere, just straight vibing. I mean,
How would you describe probably should start it with how would you describe your character's appearance then?
well, I mean, part of it can be seen in the little icon.
Hmm.
Like purplish hair with lighter streaks that are not really dyed. It's just, and it's not graying. It's just how her hair is,
Hmm.
and a big old bushy beard. And kind of. I don't really want to say goth, but dark makeup. She likes dark makeup.
All right.
Dress is, or her clothing is pretty colorful, though, I suppose. She almost kind of looks like a pirate, to be honest. The
Hmm.
way that everything is. She's not a pirate, but it has that kind of vibe. I assume weapons are definitely valid to have.
Yeah. Weapons. Everyone's coming and going with weapons in and around the city and the bar, respectively. Some folks show them, other folks not so much. But enough of an attentive eye is able to catch on that everyone is more or less armed.
Yeah, fair enough. Actually, I suppose she'd have a coat too. She has like a big thick coat that she'll wear around. I won't get into the weapons right now. She does have some.
Okay. Anything particularly stands out that anyone would see kind of
I mean-
almost immediately, or?
Her both of them, kind of, I guess, to be honest. So she has what's essentially a gun blade, and then her other weapon is it's kind of like a gladius, where it's just like a short, choppy sword,
Okay.
but it has trench style, like spiked knuckle duster guard on it.
Alrighty. It's quite an interesting design for your kit. I see.
It's very
Very punk.
yeah, punk and ganger. It's very punk and ganger.
Alright.
And yeah, just be vibing somewhere, I guess. Drinking something. Oh, I suppose it's also worth, well, more of it. She's not a light dwarf. She's also not a short dwarf. I mean, dwarves are short by nature, but
Mm.
she is 5 feet tall, which is pretty tall for a dwarf, and is quite hefty as far
Hot
as
damn.
weight goes. She's pretty big.
Heck yeah.
Alright. Now you've a hefty dwarf and an elegant drow at your alcove. Who's next?
Yep.
I mean,
Could
I
be
guess
the next oldest.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, the men. I think I probably should have gone before the dwarf, but sure, I'll go. Kor, Kor, is a tall water genasi with flowing hair and amber eyes. He's dressed mostly simply in blue. He has a pretty decent coat on, but underneath it is mostly just farmer's garb. His wooden sandals plunk very obnoxiously against the floor whenever he walks around.
Oh God, the sound.
Oh
He
no.
has a wooden crook on his back and a large flat basket, but other than that, he seems to be unarmed, but also completely unconcerned about that,
Mm.
even in such a dangerous place. And he most notably has rose tinted glasses on. She sort of peeks over every once in a while, looks around, smiles, looks back at his new companions.
Cheerful guy.
Oh God.
He's a cheerful guy. Yeah, all smiles.
A ray of sunshine in an otherwise dark corner.
I don't like it. It's weird.
Hope you're ready for weird because it's about to get weird.
Oh boy. Is this
So
our
weird.
next character? We move into the next?
Yep.
Sure, go for it.
Okay.
All right. So there's Akira. She's the tallest of the party members, basically almost 6.5 feet. Actually, she is 6.5 feet because she's tall. She's a tall dragonborn, a black dragonborn baby. And she's covered in scars, pretty much from head to toe. Even her tail has scars. She has a tail. Yes. And she's wearing an outfit that seems to be way too rich considering what she is. And they actually look very clean, despite what she is currently doing, which is using her great axe to cut some food that she has on the table. Just literally food on the table, cut it with her great axe, and she just places it on this like very fluffy scarf that she has around her. And you just see two tiny paws reach out from the scarf and take the food.
Oh.
Well, what I'm doing is just watching that happen.
Things you see in this city.
Compliments to the complimentary of the bar, Uger assures nervously. Don't worry about the pay for that one.
Yeah. She technically also has spears and javelins on her too, but eh.
Man,
Man.
casually carving up meat in front of it with a great axe. Just like,
Yep, pretty much.
city sure got some interesting people in it.
Yep.
All right. That is quite the menagerie of a party. Oh, Shadow. Hydrate. Alright, real quick. Well, the four of you gather, and I suppose now is either a time to sort of introduce yourselves and say hi if you've not quite met, or if you have met each other, then maybe catch up on what's been up. So, what are you guys' thoughts regarding this new job that you guys have heard? Sort of the topic for you guys to discuss with each other.
Well, I'm very grateful that y'all have allowed me to accompany you. I have been put on suspension, unfortunately, from my job, and also kicked out of the place I was crashing. Kind of need money. I don't exactly want to sleep in the sewers, so very grateful to be invited for this little excursion. Thank you.
Ooh, yeah. Finding a place out here is gonna be rough. Broznov's been getting a little hectic, especially with the war going on right now. And, with all things considered, Uger kind of cuts in as hearing you guys talk. With all things considered, I'd be careful out there. Tetsugard's been really feisty as of late, probably with all this commotion.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Well, that's something to worry about.
Sure noticed.
Anyone
Tetsugar
else?
always-
Oh,
Yeah. Just yakking over Tetsugard.
Tetsugard.
Always an annoyance, especially when they're would be most inconvenient.
Yep.
What else is new?
Anyone else got any thoughts to share on the job?
I take another piece of meat and I give it to my rat.
Oh.
Before we entrust our lives to one another, I'd like to hear your experience.
Oh.
Oh, I never dropped you guys the link.
Shall I pull out my resume?
Do you have a resume?
You have a
No.
resume?
No, not really. But I mean, I
Oh,
could.
Okay, good. I don't. I've done a lot of under the table traveling between the old kingdom and here, so take that as you will.
Awesome.
Kira just kind of shrugs and says, I kill people.
Yep, I've seen you do it.
Well, unfortunately, I'm just a farmer of no importance, but you
Farmer.
need food. Yeah, farmer. I work at the Spire.
And
Well, I worked, I suppose, past tense.
I hope you're not planning on hitting people with a shovel.
Goodness, no. The guards would definitely stop me on the streets if I carried a shovel around.
I don't think they would, honestly.
Oh? I feel like they might. A large metal object? That's just risky.
You know how to hide it.
Akira's just like, well, did you want to borrow this? Literally gives you the great axe, like, blade towards you.
Yeah, look, pick the right streets and you don't have to hide anything.
That's fair enough, I suppose. But I suppose, despite my appearance, I can handle myself. Promise you that much. Have a little faith. Give a little wink.
Faith is what gets you killed.
You
God, well,
insist.
Oh boy.
thinking back to a cleric sounds just so wrong.
I mean, some clerics might agree with you, but I'm just not that type of cleric.
True.
Well, it isn't too uncommon to bear weapons while walking down any streets in Broznov. It is kind of given these times, it is a bit reasonable to worry about the Tetsuguard stopping people for literally anything and anything they can think of, especially particularly now. A lot of them have been on edge, and Ugurg kind of once again sort of cuts in. He can't help himself as he's listening in, and mostly because he's kind of like right there serving you guys. But he drops a mention of how the major gangs have been sort of keeping the Tetsuguard on edge, in addition to this war down south with Valvadiri. So it's definitely putting the Tetsuguard a little bit wary of everything.
Damn country's going to war, making my life difficult.
Yep.
Making everyone's life difficult on either side. I grant it.
For real.
There is one nice thing about it, though. There's money to be had, and lots of it.
It's true.
Yep. Ugurg mentions that there's jobs have been coming and flying off with requests here and there, and people have been pretty much like turning their lives from rags to riches almost overnight. So,
Well,
you know,
here's hoping it can be similar.
yeah, this depending on this job, it might be a big break, or well, can't say everybody comes back after their first job. So, well, good luck.
Oh, I'm sure we'll manage. Besides, we got all these very intimidating fellows here. I'm sure they can make up for any potential failings on my part.
You know, that's a fair comment, actually. Dragonborn that looks like can just rip you in half. A thuggy dwarf. And then a drow just will murder you with a stare.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
she
pretty
can rip you in
much.
half, and you might thank her for it.
Oh, wow.
Oh, God damn.
Depending on how you feel about Dragonborn, Kira kind of got the same mood.
Man.
Alrighty. Any particular topics you guys want to talk about, or you guys feel like you want to kind of go over anything else? Maybe discuss with each other any plans or ideas.
Well, what kind of job have you guys heard this is? I apologize, I came in a little late, so I'm not quite sure what we signed up for. Any thoughts?
You came into this job without any preparation. Is that truly wise?
No, I did prepare.
Hmm?
Yeah, he pulls out a sack of vegetables. I brought lunch.
Oh, my
Well, that's more
goodness.
prepared than I am. I'm just here for the food.
Oh boy.
Well, then you'll be pleased to know that I brought some.
Well,
Oh,
if
dear.
feel free to make a I would make this just a normal wisdom check. If anyone would like to just kind of recall back any details regarding the job.
Sure. Oh. Wait. Wisdom check. Just straight wisdom?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, damn.
oh my god. Oh wait, I gotta check.
It's been a minute. Hey, there we go.
Oh, 20!
A 20. Alright, so both of you are able to recall some details, actually. Oh, no worries, Shadow. You're able to recall some information on it. It was more or less some kind of retrieval work. It seemed fairly urgent, which was why it came up so sudden and kind of on short notice, or at least that's what you think it might be. However, anything past that regarding the who's or what's is a little bit vague and open-ended, but one thing for sure that you do recall was that it was going to be a very, very big pay, compared to your usual measly wage, at least.
see.
Well, I have to admit I am a bit afraid because jobs that pay this well are usually a bit complicated. Or, I hate to say it, violent. So,
Well, that's pretty.
Works for me.
That's about the normal for me. So,
Yep. I can do violence.
Violence.
I'm fine with violence, but what if it gets more complicated than that? What if it requires subtlety? This group is I'm a little worried about that aspect.
I can work subtlety if I need to. Don't you worry.
Always make
Remains
a
to be
good
seen.
distraction.
well,
I
I just have to put in a good effort, I suppose.
Alright.
Alrighty.
Do we know anything about this location? I assume it's at a location.
Well, you guys are at the
That's a weird
location
situation.
where yeah, you guys are meeting with the contact here. So he's he or she is coming to meet you here.
Oh,
You guys kind of
okay,
have
so-
like, you have some time basically to kind of talk with each other and sort of sort out ideas and kind of get a little acquainted. This is kind of the, intro of the party.
Okay. Well,
So,
when we have a better idea of where we're going and what exactly it is we're trying to retrieve, we can. That's when it'll be more prudent to make a plan.
It's very true. Now we should be flexible.
I do
alrighty.
hope that there are some of you that are. Well, first in that, I do confess I do have somewhat of a hangover right now.
Oh no.
Oh, that's just unfortunate for you, huh?
Self-inflicted.
Come to a job meeting with a hangover? Good on you.
The dwarf respects this.
Respect.
Alright, means you celebrated
respect.
before the big job. I mean, who knows? It
Yeah.
might be your last.
Let's celebrate our success before we even start.
Exactly. Alrighty. Does anyone else have any other thoughts, or shall
Nope,
we?
I'm good.
I'm just gonna take out a tomato and start squeezing some juice out for my hungover friend here.
Well, as you aid your friend in preparing a nice little fix me up with tomato juice, eventually your contact does arrive. A rather tall but slender man, donned in various robes and leather armor, kind of appears, but you could see some like very interesting, almost mercenary, almost knight-like wear, something like that of more of a soldier than anything, kind of appears. He draws back his hood and he kind of gets a good look at each and every one of you before he introduces himself, and he's like, "Ah, good. I had a good feeling about you lots, and seeing you guys in person really, really gets me confident about what I've got lined up for you. Ah, but where are my manners? I am Ignacio," he says as he grabs a stool from one of the other alcoves and sits down at the open end of the little booth you guys are in. And so, you are the lot that I've picked for my job. I'm sure you guys have plenty of questions, so I'll be more than happy to walk you through the simple basics of what this is. But if everything should go well, and I'm very positive it will, then we'll all be coming off this very rich, very happy, and, dare I say, perhaps a little in the business for something more. But that's neither here nor there. Now then, perhaps we should get started with talking about the job, yes? Unless you have anything you'd like to speak to me about.
no, straight to business. I respect it.
Well, it is a bit of short notice. As you may or may not have guessed, this is a bit of a urgent job, which is why we're paying a little bit extra. Um, a person of interest of mine has, well, hired me out in checking up on a certain package that was delivered, one overseas. And, well, it was picked up by a guild-marked merchant. Hmm. And, for those of you who may not know, the guild-marked merchants are effectively merchants from either the Hanging Gardens or the Toolbox who are either by choice or by unfortunate association forced volunteering into basically working for the Merchants Guild, one of the major organized crime groups. Um, Ignacio kind of goes more into details as he says the merchant himself had ordered a variety of exotic goods, most of them from over north of Broznov, some goods from Fjordheim. However, a good number of items were actually shipped down from the castle town up north, the one that watches over the Badlands. One of these goods, well, let's just say, was not his, and at the and he had decidedly that to take it upon himself to, well, seize the product for his own. After all, we all want to make a buck in this world. Can't really blame him. That's where the simplest of things kind of come. You see, while I would have personally been able to have handled this, there are some certain difficulties requiring this job, and unfortunately, my own business and contact can't quite, how you say, get involved at the moment. However, we have it on good authority to take what's, well, essentially ours, and from our order, and bring it back. There is, of course, one bit of a catch, unfortunately. The merchant himself, before Broznov Day, had gotten his cart attacked by one of the gangs over at the merry-go-round, one of the sub-districts. Very big place where most of the sales and merchant shops are set up. The gang itself made off with pretty much more or less everything that the poor bastard had on him, including our particular item that we have an interest for. Now, normally this would be business for the mercenaries at the Merchants Guild, but given that one of those goods is ours, well, let's just say it's better that it's put in our hands than in those crooks. So, that's the very least that I can tell you about the job. But, judging by the looks of you lot, I think that you'll be able to find these thugs and get that box of our goods back.
If I'm not to be rude, but may I ask exactly what the item in question is?
Well, I suppose it would be safe to tell it to you. After all, it would be, well, there's no value in the... Okay. There's no value in the item itself to any other individual, unfortunately. It's, hard to explain. While normally most folks would consider it a grand fortune, it is jewelry of a certain unique exotic, he says, and he kind of makes a gesture as he says that. A certain exotic, if you will. And a friend of mine has on good authority to appraise it. While we have confirmed that it has no value, he has insisted otherwise, and so we would like to have him see it for himself. That's really all there is to it. You'll find the you'll find the item in question in a nice ornate black box. It's unmistakable, and the box cannot be opened, not normally. But it's definitely eye-catching for any would-be thug looking to make easy money.
Oh, so the box can't be opened. Is it sealed magically?
The lock is somewhat magical, yes.
Hmm. I was just wondering, was it jammed, or did they just use some really strong glue? But I guess magic, well, that makes...
Yep. It is, one of the finer things you can't find in Broznov, alas. A magic lock. Or at least not one that's made of, the magics they make here.
Interesting.
Indeed. But that's all you really need to know for now. What
So
I'm
what we're
sure...
really looking for is the box.
A box, yes. It does look a bit like a jewelry box, albeit, but it holds nothing really of value that you could really make. I mean, I suppose you could swipe it and try to sell it, but really the only people that would be willing to pick it up would be, well, me.
Ah, yes. Jewelry that is completely unvaluable.
I know. I speak in riddles about this, but it's better if you just don't really know too much on it past that. It would be far too convoluted to get into details at this moment. Besides, what matters more is of course your pay.
Of course. And I'm sure I wouldn't possibly begin to understand the complexity of such a exotic piece of jewelry.
Well, perhaps it might not be as exotic as I may play it up, but what is exotic is this, and he brings up a rather hefty pouch of coins, and he spills half of it out, and valued, basically he hands you out 500 gold. The rest is up to afterwards. So, yep, front pay, and then you get the rest later.
Fair enough.
You spoke my language.
This will certainly buy a lot of cabbages.
You know, you do you. Do you have a rough starting point for these fellows we're after?
Sadly, this little gang is quite the roving bunch, and I'm not too familiar with this group. However, the incident was, well, not too long ago that you could probably go back to the merry-go-round and find the merchant himself. I'm sure he and the others will be more than happy to set you on your way.
Okay.
Yes.
That's annoying, but very well.
Yes, unfortunately, such is the pains of being such short notice. I would have had more details otherwise, but alas.
No, I get it. It's fine.
Worry not.
And before we speak with this gentleman, your relationship with him, is it contentious? Should we keep your name out of things, or...
Who, me and the merchant?
Well, if I'm understanding your story correctly, he technically stole it from you, and now you want to steal it back, except it got taken by someone else?
I suppose in such a way he did wrong me, but I hold no harsh feelings for him on that. I mean, after all, it's a man's just simply trying to make it in this world. Could not really spite him for that, especially given that before this whole complexity of the gang, well, it would have been just as easy to come take it back from him. But now with this gang's involvement, that complicates things.
Wow, you're surprisingly virtuous for a Broznov man. I like it.
Ah, indeed. And besides, I was feeling a bit generous. Why do all the work when I can handsomely pay a just as competent group to go and do it for me?
Well, thanks for the money anyway.
Of course. See to it that this job gets done and this box comes back, and I'll see if we can't fix you guys up with something a little bit cleaner than this kind of work.
Nah, I'm good.
I have a knack for these sort of things, and I get the feeling, my gut kind of gives me the feeling you lot are gonna make something pretty big of yourselves soon.
Oh,
Thanks
that's
for the pouch of confidence, I suppose.
yeah, awfully kind of you to say that.
Well, times are tough. It's nice to be at least a little bit positive in these kinds of in this hour. No,
That gold is positivity enough for me.
am I right? We gotta, we've got some, we've got plenty to go around, and I'll be happy to pay you more once you're back with what I need.
Well,
Are you gonna be hanging around here?
Yep, I'll be here till the job is done.
oh, well, I guess that means we gotta get a move on then, or you might be here for a while.
Not to worry, Ugurg here will keep me entertained. Ain't that right, Ugurg? And then Ugurg kind of like pops his head up from the work he's doing and sort of smiles and waves and is just sort of like, yeah, yeah.
Well, pace yourself. Don't forget to drink water.
No worries. Now then, is there anything else you need, or will that be all?
From you, I think not. No. Perhaps we
Nothing
gotta
else
get a
comes to
move on.
mind.
I may have spaced out for a moment. Did you get a descriptor of the man?
Oh,
No, we don't got anything for the guys we're after.
I
but
mean
what
the
about
merchant.
The, yeah, the merchant himself.
Ah,
Man
yes.
of the hour.
Yes, the merchant man. Yes, of course. I've almost forgotten to give you the merchant himself. Look for Gale's exotic merchant goods. It's an overturned cart that you'll find at the road somewhere along the merry-go-round. I'm sure that he's not been able to get that thing back on its wheels since the incident. Or if it has, well, I'm sure it's going to be sitting somewhere along the road. As you know, the merry-go-round is the ever moving lane of commerce, and the merchants try not to block up the lane with little things like knocked over carts, or even the big things like robberies.
Oh, I suppose sometimes the world just gotta move on.
Indeed.
And the man himself, any hints on his appearance, hair color, height?
Half elf.
Half-
Little half elf man.
Well, better than nothing.
Half elf
Yes.
man by the name of Gale himself. Well, it's
Ooh, Gale himself. Interesting
Yeah.
last name.
well, Gale. It's But yeah, if that's everything, then perhaps you should get going. After all, this was an urgent request.
Oh, yes, quite urgent, I'm sure.
I don't see a reason to doubt that.
Mm-hmm. Let's get on it.
All right. So, as Ignacio mentions, the cart or the cart wreck is somewhere along the road of the merry-go-round. This is small background knowledge, so everyone will know this. And as Ignacio sort of described, the merry-go-round is one of the subdivisions of the toolbox, which is kind of like the residential district. In the toolbox, there's a few minor places, but the big one that kind of has a lot of the businesses that isn't within the Hanging Gardens, it's kind of like its own side market, is there's the merry-go-round, which has this big road that kind of goes in a rough circle around the entire district. The road is wide enough to accommodate for about 3.5 to 4 carts, and pretty much everything kind of like travels up and down the road. Um, and here you'll find many of the merchants traveling on carts. You'll have a lot of some of the small vehicles, like wheeled vehicles, that are like self-propelled, so almost like, dare I say, cars, but more like horseless carriage. But they're very, very much temperamental and experimental at best. But some outliers of tinkerers are bold and brave enough to take them out on this track. Um, the Tetsuguard are pretty regularly out there, which kind of does strike it as a bit odd that this criminal group was able to just kind of come out and attack this cart. But given the context, it happened pretty much at the end of Broznov nights, which means that this cart was going around the track during the darker hours, and the Tetsuguard may have changed their shift at that time. But yeah, it is now in relation to when it hit. It is the last 12 hours of Broznov day, so it's been quite an amount of time since that attack. It's actually been almost like about 2 normal days to kind of estimate it. So this is kind of like day 3. So, yeah,
Okay, yeah. It'll be night soon.
it will be night soon. It's 12 hours till night.
Okay.
But yeah, you arrive at Merry-Go-Round, and just as you imagine, the cities are, or the city, or the subdivision is crammed with, we'll go with this one. Or actually, we'll go with this one, actually. You arrive at the merry-go-round, and the lanes are crowded with merchants. It is a busy, busy hour right now, and carts are moving up and down this big road. Crowds of people are trying to get past, trying to avoid getting knocked over or run over, or just trying to flag down a merchant to try and do business with them. The neighboring buildings are also bustling with business, as some of those little areas, such as cafes or even other cafes or um, dealers in various crafts, or even handlers of various goods, are sending out barkers to sort of call out and advertise what goods they're selling, or try and flag either witting or unwitting customers into their shops to try and buy something. And
Okay, we came at
it
rush
is
hour.
it is a bit of a chaotic mess. However, it's nothing you're not too, it's nothing you're not you're not used to.
How
But
quaint.
you'll have to take some effort to navigate this bit of a chaotic mess.
I can never stand the main roads.
Yeah, it does lose its novelty after a while.
Certainly does, but everyone is just rushing around. So exciting.
Yep.
Probably difficult to swipe something though.
Oh,
All these
true.
owls.
Keep watch over your pockets.
Oh, good thing I don't have any money. I mean,
Oh,
Akira just looks down at herself, looks back at you.
look, it wasn't for your sake that I said that, alright?
The rat looks at you.
well, actually, I suppose I do have
Judgmental rat.
some money. I'm just gonna tuck it into my coat.
Probably good that you don't have money. It keeps my hand still.
Oh, well, if you need a loan, I'm more than happy to help.
I always need a loan.
Oh. Well, of course.
Perhaps not now.
We'll spend it on wine. probably.
Hmm.
Well,
Well, shall we search this crowd for the obvious sore spot of a broken cart?
it's
Too hot to-
the merry-go-round is like a circle, right?
Yeah. So if you want to imagine the whole subdivision is just kind of, it's not quite a square, but it's kind of like a really, it's like a kind of a rough shaped subdivision just area, and pretty much dotting around the entire subdivision is this big main road, and there's all these little like side roads that connect to it, including like four main like entry and exit roads that lead into and out of the others the subdivision. So if you want to get in or out of the subdivision, you can take the merry-go-round and go into the merry-go-round, and then drop yourself off at another point.
I see.
How about this? Two of us. Well, we split up 2 and 2, go different ways, meet up around.
Oh,
Well,
I mean,
hopefully, one of our groups would find who we're looking for, and then we can meet up.
that does sound effective. But how shall we split up the group?
What? Look, do either of you two use magic?
Magic.
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 You're assuming
This
she's not the one being
economy?
spoken to here.
No.
I made
No.
that.
Caleb looked at you and was like, "Nah."
I may dabble a little bit.
Okay,
Nothing
let
too
me put it this
arcane,
way.
but
Are what are your guys' skill sets precisely?
I'm a farmer.
That doesn't tell me anything in this instance. But okay.
Shall I phrase this? Most of my experience come from tavern brawls.
Wow,
Hey,
that's impressive. I have never actually been in a tavern brawl before. Tell
You
me some
should.
of
I
the
usually
ropes.
have my brawls outside, and they're usually pretty deadly.
Hmm.
yeah, let's try and keep the bloodshed to a minimum right now. Let's try not to get into a brawl. Actually, that'd be most ideal. We really don't want.
True. I mean, violence is not always the answer, my friends. I hate to break it to you.
It's very convenient, though.
It is.
Sometimes
I'm
it's
sure
the
it is.
question, and the answer is yes. But I can agree on this.
Yeah, to be fair, I'm not worried about the violence either. It does bring complications, though. By complications, I mean Tetsugo.
Yeah, they're annoying son of a bitches.
May not be functioning at peak performance right now, but even I recognize that. So let's use our words.
Yeah.
Oh,
so,
I guess
mean,
that would be a follow-up. Are either of you two do either of you two spend much time talking to people?
I
Kind
mean,
of my profession, so I'm somewhat proficient in that, I suppose.
I would say I'm perfectly average at it, to be honest.
Well, these
thought
questions
you
are
were-
going nowhere.
How about this? Boulder parchment shear.
Oh,
God.
sure. How are you? Sure, but how?
Out of character, we just all roll a d20. The two lows go together and the two highs go together.
You know what? That works for me.
It's fun.
When I'm at the computer, I'll do that. Hold on.
All these
Roll a
doing
Damn it.
19.
I'm gonna normally be rolling in D&D Beyond, but for this I'll do.
7.
Oh, I...
Oh.
Somewhere else.
Did I not do it?
I keep doing that too.
I don't. What
Oops.
is it?
It's
point?
exclamation.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I saw you do it, and I was like, oh, that must be right, because something popped up.
No.
Ooh. Well, maybe. We got a
It's gonna
7
be
and 8 and 11.
funny if you're higher, double.
I rolled 19.
Oh,
Oh,
We,
wonderful.
we got the two brawlers together. Hell yeah!
Okay.
Violence!
Violence, violence crew. Woo!
well then, I suppose that would be
Oh, I need to write down everyone's names because I will.
me and Miss Tella?
Ayla.
Taylor. Me and Miss Taylor, then. Goodness, I am terrible at golden parchment shears.
Yeah,
Become
yeah,
a
I feel that.
gambler.
Suppose the secret is I should stop just using boulder every time. That doesn't work. It's very predictable.
Again, I reiterate, don't become a gambler.
Well, I don't think you need to worry about me. It's not really in my nature.
I'll admit I've known you for all of like 30 minutes, and I find that hard. I have a hard time seeing that as well.
Wow, thank you. That's the nicest thing you've said to me. We've known each other for 30 minutes.
Amazing.
Okay. Well, with that sorted, let's be off and see if we can find this merchant.
Off we go, scuttling about.
So you split in
Or
twos?
more like with Akira's massive size, she's just
splitting the
bulldozing
party
people.
already.
She's just walking through them.
She just walks into people. Like, it's either you get out of my way or I'm going to be in your way.
Unstoppable force coming through.
Because I'm actually writing this down now. Dragonborn
Like,
is
even if she
Akira.
was gentle, she's
yeah.
she's massive. So
Yeah, Dragonborn is Akira.
What was your Ganassi's name?
His name is Kor. K-O-R. Kor the water.
Okey-doke.
Alright. When you guys are ready, which group wants to go first?
I think Fibble's 19.
Yeah.
Should make him go first.
Alrighty.
Why am I
Well,
always
how you go
going
first?
What do you guys do?
Vegan.
Akira.
actually, technically, I would be leading the way because I would be the unstoppable force bulldozing people.
Oh
yeah,
God.
for
You
sure.
wanna
Behind.
you wanna get bulldozing then?
Oh, you
I
can
mean,
just
not
like
literally.
ride
It's
her
more like
wave.
because I'm so huge in general that like even if Akira was like, "Oh, excuse me, sorry," tiptoeing, which is not even her personality, she's gonna run someone over.
You're just like,
She's
move
like,
it out of
if
my
I'm gonna
way.
run over somewhere, if I'm
Move or
gonna
get run
roll
over.
someone,
Yep.
exactly.
You're just kind of strutting
It's like a small
through
car
and
versus a
shoulder checking.
semi-truck.
Yeah. You're just kind of strutting
You don't
through
go
and
for
sort
a
of shoulder
turn.
checking everybody on your way through.
Pretty much.
How about
Didn't
you?
even reach my shoulder.
So
Yeah.
you guys are going in, and you're coming in from the south or from the north entrance. You're going southwards. So you're at the north part of the. If you want to imagine a big ring around this area, you're in the north part of the ring. So which direction are you going then, Akira?
I guess I'll go left, and the other group can
So-
go right.
You'll go west. All right.
Yep.
Go ahead and make a strength check with advantage to just kind of push your way through everybody, because I mean this is kind of a relatively easy sort of thing. You pushing through crowds isn't really, yeah. It's kind of expected that you're gonna be doing all right, even with this sort of rapid crowd. Maybe your companion's not so much though.
Oh, I'll take the 9. Oh, also 69.
Nice.
Nice.
Oh, buddy.
Well, you're in the beginning able to sort of push your way through. However, you kind of find it a little bit more difficult to shove and push when the lanes are wedged up between several carts, and you kind of you don't get very far, and you're almost kind of like in the traffic jam now. Man, you're at that like 5 p.m. going home traffic, man.
Yeah. Because I don't want to start knocking over carts because that's gonna get attention. More
Yeah.
so than a 6.5 foot dragonborn pushing her way through people.
So you don't get too far, but you get a good distance heading westwards on the ring. Um, but yeah, there's a few carts. There's various food. The ones in particular that are blocking you are all ironically just food carts selling various goods. um, Most of them are like two of them are stopped in the middle of the road as they're two different carts selling steamed buns, and the merchants have decided to stop and yell at each other for a few minutes, and they're the ones that are really just kind of stopping you.
Oh my god.
Yep.
In that case, Kira's just gonna literally go up to them, look at them, being like, move.
Move.
Just in the middle of the argument, just move.
Is that a check there?
You
You're
want me
gonna?
to intimidate? I can certainly try.
Please do.
Is that a promise or a threat?
Not a promise or a
Find
threat.
out
Well,
if it's
that's
a promise or a
that's
threat. It's a
that's more just
16.
16. You are able to catch their attention, and they're they are able to sort of like they kind of notice that they are in fact blocking up traffic, and in addition to you kind of glaring at them, they look and see that there's a bit of a crowd that's also collectively looking at the two clowns like, guys, like, move your fucking shit, you know.
Yep.
But eventually they do kind of start moving again, not without hurling a few insults at each other about how one makes, low quality crap food and the other one is overcharging and selling selling street waste to the people. But it's just
We're doing food wars. What the heck?
yeah. It's just casual banter between competing merchants.
Yep. And she does not give a shit once they're out of the way. Time to keep going through.
You're just like, y'all blocking up the road. I don't care about your businesses.
Exactly. As soon as they're
Shut up,
gone or
plus
out of her
didn't
way,
ask.
she is.
Shut
Yep.
up. Didn't ask.
Yeah.
Didn't ask.
Pretty much.
But yeah, so you are able to sort of push this group along, and eventually you make it to a bit of sort of a break in the ring, where there's sort of an opening for foot travelers to sort of move off, and merchant carts to sort of pull over to the side, essentially. And you're kind of here's where it's like the crowds sort of die down, and you're able to sort of move a little more freely.
Yay! People don't have to get run over by a large dragonborn.
Yep. So you've made it. I'd say you reached about like a quarter of the way there. It's like a
Yay.
quarter of the way to like the west part of the ring.
And no signs of a turnover cart.
Yep. No signs. Nothing so far. Who was coming with you, by the way?
It's Sybil.
Me. Yeah.
Seiza.
That's right,
Seiza?
Fibble.
Exactly.
Seiza. So I'm guessing you kind of quickly follow behind, making use
Oh,
of
yeah.
your intimidating friend, who's able to just sort of shove along the the path. So you two are in sort of this break. There's this side path, almost like it's almost kind of like a cobbled road that's different from the rest of the pathway, because the road is like this. It's kind of like a pavement, and then there's this cobbled pathway off to the side that sort of expands out, big enough for carts to pull this side and people to walk around without having to block up or kind of get stuck in the flow, if that makes sense. So there's a few shops here that are in buildings that are open, as well as some carts pulled over. So is there anything you guys want to do or want to check out?
If it's not the overturned cart, the cure doesn't care.
All right. Seiza,
Or
you
unless there's a dead person on the road or something, then she'll care.
no dead people.
But if there's no dead people, then okay,
Dang.
we on.
Thinking maybe you should use the advantage of having an intimidating friend and like swipe some things.
My
Oh.
God.
Oh my god, breaking the law? Breaking
All
the law.
right,
Law, breaking the law.
Exactly.
we're an hour
Go
in, and
for
we're
it.
already committing our first crime. Let's go.
Yeah, it took the other group like 20 sessions before they committed their first crime.
I know.
Come on, guys, pick up the pace.
It's the genuine Broznov experience. You don't stay here for more than an hour without committing a crime.
Look, they're a very different group of people. Okay.
And this is also true.
They really are.
They very diff.
Goody two shoes.
Bunch of weenies. No, I'm kidding.
Go ahead and pickpocket someone. Gear don't care, even if she knew.
Yeah. So you gonna go and try and pick something off somebody, or swipe something from a stall or something,
Sure.
or
I didn't
we're gonna
think
do
this
something
through, but
else.
yeah.
Alrighty.
We're gonna Kenta this shit.
Lovely. There's a few.
Steal an entire gazebo.
No.
There's a few stalls that are parked up. One of them has actually one of the two bun merchants that were selling like steamed buns and dumplings and other goodies. Another one is peddling like sort of figurines and art decorations. Another one is selling it's a deli essentially. They're just selling meats. And that's one of the actual building ones.
Well, I can't steal from independent artists, you know. That's a.
There's a line.
Yeah, there's a line. I'm
Yeah.
gonna steal from the bun peddler.
Alrighty. The guy who's apparently, according to the other guy, selling overcharged crap or overpriced crap.
Way I see it,
Find out.
I'm paying with my time, right? We got held up. Time is money.
Exactly.
God.
This is big brain.
Such an asshole.
Hey man, you do you. It's okay. This guy's a jerk ass too. Everyone is.
I promise I'm going through character development, just not yet.
Some of us are perfectly normal people. I don't know what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
like me.
Akira's-
I don't know. I don't
see
know
nothing
about
wrong.
that one.
Stuart just
You
like,
want me to
what?
roll
No, she's
something,
completely
or-
fine. She's normal. Like, what? What do you mean? It's weird.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I don't see anything wrong.
Well, if you insist.
Kayla's weird to the core.
But yeah, did you
Like,
want me to
do
roll
not belong
something?
down to the core.
Yeah, if you did want to steal something, you can roll. Sorry.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna try to use the thing then.
Go ahead and use the thing.
How do you do this? Like this? No? Yeah? Oh.
Um,
Oh.
What's your total?
Wow.
That's a good start.
It's sleight of hand, right?
yeah, it would be sleight of
Yeah.
hand.
5.
A 5. New.
Ooh.
And in addition to that, not only do you fail your attempts, the merchant does catch you. And he gives you an
Start.
earful.
Oh, my friend, I was simply looking at your wares.
He
You
was
said
like-
it was quality. I was interested.
He's like, "You want to look? You look with your eyes, not with your hands." And he smacks your wrist.
Oh, wow. Rude. For the record, it was hot as a stone. I expected
Stuff
something
sucked
fluffier.
anyway.
Oh my god, when you're getting lectured, she turns into personal. Like a fancy gentleman.
got that little like a noble harshness that probably shouldn't
Yeah.
exist.
The shop.
Only when she's being caught doing crime.
Exactly.
In response, by the way, for calling them stones, he's just like, well, at the very least, these stones are worth it. Next time you come by the cart and you try and touch these, touch my food, you're gonna get worse than a slap. And he like waves one of his knives at you.
By the way, Akira has not stopped for you. However, the rat is looking at you judgingly.
Oh no!
Oh no.
That's the most important one, the rat.
No. All my crimes laid bare to the rat.
The rat knows your sins.
If he's not holding me, I'm just gonna go then.
Nope, but he is just gonna kind of eye you, being all like, "You better watch out next time I see you."
We've rolled 2 ones to start so far. Great.
We're off to a great
Amazing.
start.
God.
It's like Ignacio says, this group's gonna do great.
Oh yeah, that totally upstanding guy, not shady or suspicious at all.
Totally not
Totally.
shady.
Totally honest, for sure.
Yeah. Again, nothing wrong. Right?
Nothing weird here.
Nope, just a slap on the wrist and don't come by the shop unless you actually want to pay for something.
Yeah.
But yeah, you guys are gonna progress then, or is there anything else you want
Yeah.
to check out around here?
Nope.
Okay. Before you progress, I'm gonna shift over to our other group here. You guys are going east.
Sounds like it.
Alright, well, you're met with the same bustle of crowds and carts. How do you guys want to do this? You guys want to try and navigate through this, or?
Navigate, yeah. I'll take the lead.
Okay,
I
I
am.
will.
I'm.
yeah, I'll follow, but I will lean down and touch you on the shoulder. I hope you know where we're going. I might cast guidance.
Kind of. Wish we had a better idea of who we're looking for.
yeah, half elf named Gale, a little vague.
Halfling.
Halfling.
Yeah,
Was that
halfling.
The
You
halfling
said
now,
half elf.
okay.
Oh,
Okay,
did
you
I
said
s-
half elf at first.
Did I say half elf? My bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I meant to say halfling.
You know.
Yeah.
It's a
Right.
good thing.
Fix
Good
it.
thing we got that sorted out now.
Yeah.
halfling
yeah,
named
we're
Gale.
like-
You're the halfling that
We're
you're supposed to
walking
be
around
looking
for hours, like, we're looking for a half elf, and the
We're
DM's
looking-
just like, why the fuck are you looking for a half elf?
You guys looking for a half elf? It's a halfling. It's gonna be a halfling half elf.
Oh,
Wait.
Well,
Hmm.
him. His parents are very interesting, and I support it.
But yeah, navigate is how I'll get through.
Okay.
I am more used to, just walking through this, so. That's
Alright.
how I shall proceed.
So go ahead and make. How are we gonna do this? I guess it'll just be a regular dexterity check, with advantage because of guide. If I remember.
It's D4.
Oh yeah.
D4.
Okay, so it'll be D4, not advantage.
It's just a cantrip. That'd be kind of OP.
15 total.
All right. Well, you're able to, for the most part, sort of weave past the crowds and dodge the carts, narrowly missing a close call here and there.
Yep,
From,
and grabbing core if I need to.
Yep.
He's tall, but he's surprisingly light on his feet.
Well, that's good, because so is Taylor.
Despite how loud his shoes are, you're never gonna
Clack,
lose
clack,
him.
clack.
Your dwarven friend is able to,
Damn, I can hear you through this crowd.
Never lose them.
Your dwarven friend is able to quickly quickly navigate you through to roughly about a quarter of the way there, when you start seeing the cobbled road of a sort of a side stop. And much in the same, there's kind of the same sort of things. There's some carts that are pulled to the side, and there's a few other few other markets and shops. There is a cafe as well on this side.
Coffee.
Ooh, a lovely little cafe. I'll have to come back sometime and test the wares. I
Hmm
don't usually shop this far out from the Hanging Gardens, but maybe I ought to expand my horizons a bit.
Well, feel free to now, because that actually might be a good place to get some information.
Yeah.
Very true.
We shall head in. Sounds like.
Yeah.
I want to talk to. I don't know. Well, I guess I'll see when we enter, but probably the proprietor or some random person. That if there's anyone chilling outside, I might talk to them instead.
I don't know why, but this kind of reminds me of like Kayla is like Ari in that one League of Legends animation,
Mm.
and Akira's Leona.
Ooh.
Ari is just dodging here and there. Leona just goes through a tree.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Oh god, that old animation.
Yeah.
It's so pretty cool. But yeah, I do feel that.
They made
Akira-
Nautilus like the size of a frickin' house.
I looked
You
up Leona
did.
and I'm scared.
Scared in a good way.
Look at the gif. Are you sure?
Oh,
Huh?
oh, that. I didn't. That's not what I thought you were talking about.
Oh.
Look at her. She's beautiful.
Moving on.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll go to the cafe.
Yep. Inside, you push past small well, I wouldn't say small. You push past the crowd that's lining all the way outside to the cafe, all ordering various hot drinks. And you see behind a rather tiny counter are a trio of tieflings who are all very, very tirelessly trying to crank out as many orders during this rush, and they are definitely looking really, really overworked. As one's quick to take orders, another one is just bouncing between prepping cups and serving out all sorts of hot beverages, teas, coffees, and other such. And another one is packing and passing them off to the waiting customers, some of whom are definitely glaring daggers at them until their order comes up, and then they contently walk back or walk out of the cafe.
Well, out of respect to poor workers in the service industry, perhaps we ought to stick to the customer.
Yeah, or ask them if we order something. Cause yeah.
No, I don't even think
I
they're gonna
agree.
have time for anything more than a
Yeah.
"What do you want?" and cost this much before
You-
they're gonna be off again.
You could ask you could ask them a question or two while you order, or you could try pulling one of the others aside, and see if you can't make a quick talk with them while they work. There is also asking around the customers and seeing if they know anything.
I think that's what I would go to.
Yeah, I think the customers are a better bet.
All right. So you guys want to wait on or check in on the ones that are waiting, or maybe one that's in line? Because there's quite a decent collection of either.
Yeah. Probably someone in line.
Yeah.
Or yeah. Or is this like are there seating areas in here, or is it just you come
Not-
in and then you leave?
There's like a couple chairs and stuff, but they're all filled up with people that are waiting.
Okay.
There's like
Anyone-
it's a pretty small area, and it's a fairly small cafe, and there's a lot more people than you should have inside the building to kind of put it into sort of context.
Oh goodness, the fire inspector's going to be very displeased.
Yeah, it's okay. Everything's made of stone. Nothing's gonna burn here.
Yeah. I guess
Finest
I'll
dwarven
talk-
stone. It'll be impressive if a fire breaks out.
challenge.
Bet. Someone who looks like they're. I guess the best way to phrase it is someone who looks like they're from around, quote unquote, from around here.
They look like a regular patron, or
A local.
Someone. Yeah, a local, I guess, or someone who looks like they could be a merchant.
okay. So you'll probably look for some of the more merchant kind of folk.
Yeah, someone that in my eye, I feel like would have the best chance of knowing something about the scale that we're after.
All right. Go ahead and make an investigation check.
I'll give you guidance.
It's a D4.
Sort of nudge you on the shoulder.
Just my investigation.
Hey, did you see that person over there? Nudge.
Not awesome, but not
What we got?
the positive at the very least. Well, hey, look, a third one.
Oh boy.
Oh man, we have the
Oh my
same
God.
investigation, so.
I'm gonna give you advantage for that. Roll one more D20.
I can't wait for another one. Oh, I thought it was.
It's
I
not
saw
a 1.
one.
So that's gonna be to an 11, taking the last roll. Yeah, we've rolled enough ones. Let's get an advantage in there.
We've only started.
Start.
Boy, now I worry when combat hits. Oh no,
Oh,
Don't worry,
those
I'm a cleric.
those
take
gangers are
care
gonna
of it.
smoke you guys.
Well,
So you do catch sight of one fellow, and it looks like it is an actual half elf, not halfling. It is a half elf, and they definitely have kind of the garbs, and they look to be some kind of merchant that from one of the cart merchants from outside, who's just kind of quietly waiting on his order. And you do catch his attention, and he is willing to kind of talk with you for a bit. And he says that he does know a little bit about this knocked over cart, and he says that it's somewhere along the southern part of the ring. However, the attack happened. It was in the southwest part of the ring, but they moved the cart since that night, and it's likely going to be parked at one of the warehouses on the south side. So likely you'll find the cart and the merchant there at that warehouse while they're fixing it up.
Oh well, thank you. You've been extremely helpful.
Yeah, no
Can
problem.
Can I ask you a follow-up question?
Oh, sure.
Any recommendations for the cafe?
The cafe? Well, I'd say take anything as long as you get some of my ramen with it.
Oh, you're too clever. Of course, I'll have to come by sometime.
Yep, and he points out to his ramen cart outside.
Oh, absolutely. A little tea and ramen sounds amazing. Fortunately, my good friend here is in quite a rush, but rain check on that ramen. I will be back, my good sir.
He's like, I'll hold you two to it.
Alrighty
Damn
then.
Maybe.
So, you are able to get some information. The cart was supposedly moved, but was located somewhere in the south area.
Okay. We'll start heading that way then.
Alright, you progress southwards. But we'll move on back to Group 1. Akira, you are bulldozing past more people. Make another
Yep.
strength with advantage.
Alright, let's do this. Let's see. I'm just
don't
gonna
roll a
roll
one,
this
don't roll a one.
one. Oh, okay.
Oh my god, a nat
Oh.
20.
Okay,
Nice.
There's a for a good stretch of the road, there are not really any big carts or any particular carts that really get in your way, and the crowds are, well, not really a thing as you sort of bulldoze your way through and actually make it well past halfway down the ring and into skipping the west gate road and then going more towards the southern part. There you find sort of what appears to be actually something interesting. You find sort of on the side near the next stop point, a large wagon wheel. This looks like to be one of the cart's wagon wheels.
Oh, had to pick it up and just.
Damn it!
Oh, okay.
I was just thinking, don't pick it up, don't pick it up.
Yep.
Picked
Picks
it
it
up.
up. God
Use
damn
it
it.
to see the.
There are a few other individuals. Some folks appear to be some sort of tinkerers or perhaps other merchants who are sort of inspecting the wheel, perhaps thinking of taking it for their own.
And then I
When
just
you
do
show
it
up
and
and
grab
sort
it.
of, sort of take it from them.
This is my wheel now.
A couple of them kind of complain about it, but, you know, for the most part, they don't really do much other than just kind of make noise at you.
We're here to retrieve our property. I don't understand why you are so up in arms against that.
And one of the the complaints from the merchants are just like, you know, we were here, we saw it first, finders keepers. You know, that whole
The
shtick.
wheel.
But it's our wheel. We saw the wheel
Garrett
first.
just looked at them, looks down at them.
They're like, my wheel now.
What kind of?
Yeah.
Is there anything around the wheel?
Hey, you gotta check out the sick ass wheel.
Yep.
What do you got there? A smoothie.
Mostly. Well, can I see if there's anything else around that looks like it belonged to a wagon of some sort?
Nothing else. It seems that this was the last thing if there was any debris left behind that didn't get, you know, moved or picked clean by the vultures, essentially. But the wheel is kind of interesting. It's large like most of the other cart wheels around here. And it appears to be fairly damaged.
My friend, I think we can safely assume that the site of the crash was around here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And either of you want to make a perception on the wheel?
You can do it.
Sure.
Kira's more interested in trying to find the actual crash site.
Alrighty.
Like,
That is. Oh, I do have. This +6, I think. Yeah.
What do we got?
A second. Oh my god. Another nat 1, baby.
how many?
Oh,
Oh
nice.
my god! Wait, you rolled 2 of them in the same like.
That's the only 2 rolls I had.
We're
Roll
doing
with advantage.
awesome.
Yeah. Oh no. Are
Okay.
one shots just fucking cursed, boss?
I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't consider this a one-shot, really, but
Yeah, but
Oh,
you know
right,
what I mean.
Nope.
Wrong one.
yeah. Given that we've been rolling an exceptional number of ones,
Been
I'm
more
a give it a nudge and say you're gonna learn a little bit from this and give you
at
something.
17, so.
Okay, cool. This is actually some good details that you actually pick up on. So, as you glance over at this damaged wheel, I mean, it seems pretty standard for anyone ambushing a cart. You want to go for the wheel so that it doesn't, can't effectively, the cart can't effectively move. What is very interesting, however, is unlike in most cases where if the wheel has kind of got these big open spokes, so easiest way would normally be to jam something in those spokes and let it get caught on the cart itself. Um, you notice that the wheel has still part of the axle in it, and the axle is like clean cut. Like it is a straight clean cut like a hot knife through butter.
Uh,
Yeah, this
Guess we're dealing with an enemy swordsmith.
yeah, for real.
there's
Animate this cart.
in addition to that, the outer rim of the wheel seems to be sort of dented and busted inward, so it kind of has more like a wedge shape going into the wheel. But that's not as I mean, that's more of the glaring thing, but that's not as like interesting as that clean cut. And as you sort of as Akira sort of like tilts it, the axle pops right, like slides right out of the just the little thing. So it just falls right
Pick
off.
that up.
It's yeah. So this wheel wasn't just like destroyed or jammed or stopped. It was like cut right off, and the thing just kind of fell loose.
My friend, how many cards have you broken in your day?
A few.
If you notice that the way that this one broke is very irregular.
Kind of looks at it. Huh? Yeah, there's no bite marks.
Oh,
Oh, that too.
Well, at least she agreed.
That's a thing.
You know, I think we're dealing with something a little more complicated than just simple ruffians.
you don't say.
You think it's samurai?
Something of this, transgression must have left some imprint on the people that were around here. Looking around, is there any shops like stationary shops nearby?
Yeah, there's couple of places. Another knickknack shop that sort of sells a variety of like goods, a general store, and a I wouldn't really call it like a bar, but it's kind of like it's not a cafe either, but it's like a juice shop.
Juice shop.
Yeah. So that's like, I guess you'll find like basically it's kind of like the equivalent of like a Jamba Juice. In fact, they have a lot of cool drinks here that they sell.
Ooh,
Cool.
a juice bar. That's
Yeah.
Juice bar.
For
And
all ages.
yep, refreshing cold drinks.
Which
and,
one of these three are like the least populated at the moment, I suppose?
Let's see. Oops. It would be the juice bar.
Okay. Perfect. It's the one I wanted.
Yay!
I mean, maybe Wine Mom can find some good juice.
Some good juice. Quit
Thanks,
drinking.
wine mom.
Oh, she quits wine for grape juice.
Yeah.
Alcoholic grape juice.
Wait a
Oh,
minute.
man.
Hmm.
I see why she chose it.
Feeling a little parched. Let's get over there.
All right.
Shrug. Goes over.
So you enter in, and there's maybe a handful of patrons kind of coming and going. It's honestly not too busy that there's plenty of open chairs. You kind of enter into this cafe, and you kind of get hit with like a not really like chilling, but like a refreshing like blast of cool air as you step inside. It definitely doesn't feel like the you don't feel that warm hustle and bustle from the from the city streets, because it gets pretty warm out there because of just how many people are just so close to each other and cooped up. So this is kind of a nice sort of change up, which kind of makes it odd that there's like not a lot of people here. But yeah, and yeah, they're definitely advertising the the icy drinks and all sorts of nice juices. There are a few alcohol products, but that's not their main sell. It's definitely the juices, and they show various they show a variety of you know, various little. I wouldn't say like I guess it's kind of like a menu, kind of like big menu overhead. However, um, rather than like listing off the names of the various drinks, there's just kind of images of you know these drinks being held by these rather attractive women and men who are just holding their drinks and sort of like posing with them. And
Okay.
usually some sort of big sort of fruit in like the glass that sort of indicates like, okay, this is orange, this is cherry, this is grape, this is strawberry, you know. So rather than like names, it's just people just holding a thing with a fruit labeled on it.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'll have the watermelon one. That gentleman right there is holding.
I'll have the one that yeah, the hot guy's holding.
Yep.
No,
Just one dude who's just like holding one drink like really down low, and it's just got a banana on it.
oh my god.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Whoa.
Well, there is a banana flavor, but no, it's not. That's not the pose the person is in.
Not that much of an
Family
innuendo.
juice bar.
Ah, that kind of juice.
Not anymore. Did you want something to drink?
Nope,
I think we have enough money for. No?
I'm good.
Okay. God. No, I'm having a hangover and everything, but I'll take an alcoholic drink.
Well, I mean,
Brilliant.
a little hair of the dog, I guess.
Man, I gotta get rid of this hangover. Get some more alcohol.
I mean,
Yeah.
it works.
Exactly.
You just gotta deal
Get
with
a
the hangover
hangover
next
if you're
day.
always drunk. Yeah.
You just keep
Exactly.
pushing that hangover back. You're like, I'll deal with this tomorrow.
But as like I'm giving, I'm buying the drink, I'll also just ask the person on the other side.
Just holding a fucking wheel and half of its axle, basically.
Hmm.
Oh, that's
While you're trying to get it to drink.
Yeah, I did not assume that you put that down.
I'm just imagining. Just imagining, it's like you're at a Jamba Juice. The menu overhead's got like people posing with drinks. You come up to the counter. Behind you is this Dragonborn holding a busted wagon wheel. You're looking over the counter. You'd be like, "Let me get some cold wine."
Honestly, the employee would be like, "Understandable, ma'am."
This is what I deal with.
The man behind
Yeah.
the man behind the counter, which by the way, the counter goes up to almost the shoulders, with the exception of where like you pay, which comes down to about the waist. Kind of they they give you a rather stern stare, not like an unwelcome look, but they're definitely not smiling. As
Like, what the fuck?
I mean, it's not so much a surprise. They clearly are used to this kind of weird shit, but they're just kind of
Oh,
like,
no, not again.
what do you want? They're just kind of like, yep. They kind of look at you and they acknowledge you and they're like, yep, what can I get you?
Oh, great, more weirdos.
Whatever's most hot right now. And also some information, if you will. Have you ever seen the wheel that my friend is currently brandishing?
This will require a persuasion check.
Good luck.
Good.
No
And 1 gold for
one.
the drink.
Okay, I'll mark that down. And also proficient in that, so
I don't know how
6.
much gold we got, but
Well, there is the 500 that you got paid.
Yeah, does that count
Each?
as like our? Okay, yeah, we got 500.
Not
I
each.
have
That's
a
in total.
little bit.
Oh, in
Okay.
total.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
So
500 divided by 4.
I have a little
125?
bit in my
125. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
125.
right.
A 21?
Yep.
Alrighty. Well, the man kind of gives you, like, sort of strange looks as he bounces between looking at you and looking at the Dragonborn with the wheel, and then just kind of quietly turns away from you to go and work on your drink. However, the other employee which is a young woman, approaches you and she says, "Yeah, I saw the wheel. I saw what happened with that wheel. I guess there was I guess some gangsters came out and tried to steal from the cart, one of the carts. I wonder if the Tetsu guard managed to catch them."
Let's see. Anything strange about these fellows that tried to steal from the cart?
Well, I don't know what happened. I didn't see it myself. I came in on it happened before my shift started, but it's it is a little strange that we haven't heard anything yet. Doesn't Most of the time nobody's really that dumb to go and try and rob a cart on the middle of a busy road, you know. Takes a minute to stop one even in the crowd, and even then it takes some time to take everything and run, you know. Usually that's why the Tetsu guard is so lax. Just it's almost impossible to really steal anything without getting caught by someone.
You would think that, yes.
Yeah.
Regardless, thank you for entertaining my question.
Yeah. Well, it's only a matter of time, I guess. Those crooks can't be too far.
Perhaps so.
Yep. And before she's able to say much more, the man comes back and sort of steps in front of her and hands you your drink, and he pretty much is just like, you know, almost dismissively, like to say, "Get out," just like, "Enjoy your day."
Oh, I will. Tomorrow, maybe not. I don't know what to do with that information.
I could kind of sort of summarize a bit, but pretty much kind of the implication here is robbing here is really hard, especially if you try and rob from a cart. Namely because it takes time. So there's likely kind of the theory going that chances are the crooks have not gotten far. Your other bit of information is the strange cut on the axle wheel, which kind of isn't the usual go-to for robbing a cart, because, well, that's a hard
Yeah.
cut to make, considering how little of a space there is to make a cut like that, and how clean of a cut that is. In addition, I mean, this is more common knowledge, but it's usually easier just to sort of stop the cart by jamming something in the spokes, and then just letting it sort of, like, get stuck. And then, you know, the merchant ain't gonna really put up much of a fight, but unloading things and then going with them will take some time. Which is why the Tetsu guard, they don't tend to... They're not really fast acting, because it's just like, well, you know, by the time they get there, they're you know, most of the crooks that try and attempt a thievery, they're gonna be fighting crowds and, you know, or still in the middle of just offloading goods, unless it's something small.
We'll see.
But Yeah, so things aren't quite adding up here, cause yeah, they kind of broke down the cart.
Clearly, there's only a wheel left.
Oh my god, they ate the cart.
Yep,
Damn
whole
it, they
cart,
got to it before
Yeah,
I
you
did.
got the label now.
whole cart scuttled in minutes and then gone before anyone could be wise to it.
Damn.
Oh my
Time to go
god.
eat an entire airplane.
Damn.
No.
Can't,
Not
I
yet.
can't be outdone.
Hmm.
But
Bummer.
is there anything else that you guys would like to do? Maybe try out the knickknacks or the other food shop, or you plan to keep going along till you reach the south end? Because you guys are more like southwest.
Hmm. What do you think?
It'll be up to you.
I think with that information, there's not much else we can glean here, so we'll just find the rest of the cart, the person, and then go from there.
Okay, I'm gonna shift it back over to the other group then.
Love
Hello. So, you guys know that there is a warehouse somewhere in the south end.
Yes.
But you are in the north. What was it? Northeast? Yeah, you're in the northeast corner of the ring.
Well, start working on getting down to the south end.
Alrighty. So, you want to try and push through the crowds again like you did before, or?
Yep.
Alrighty.
Alrighty. I'll just lean down and say, "Oh, watch your step." Guidance.
Guidance
What
once
the hell?
more. Go ahead with a
Hell
d20 plus
yeah.
d4.
This was just dexterity, right?
Oh, yeah.
20.
Ooh, nice. So you're able to make a fairly decent stretch of the way, and you don't quite make it to the rest stop, but you come across just a little bit of a jam on your way. Two carts have sort of set up shop on the far sides, and the crowd have sort of start to gather in a concentrated area where it's sort of become very difficult to push through. It's almost like, maybe one person can kind of squeeze past the two lines that have formed. But yeah. And they are both selling pretty much just fried meats on sticks. And yeah, it seems to be some kind of a cook-off challenge here.
Oh my god.
Yep, as they're both just trying to be all like, "Oh yeah, well I'm making this much. Like we just sold to our 30th customer," and the other guy's like, "Ha, 33rd."
Like, nothing's gonna rub these guys.
Yep,
Oh my god, the spirit of entrepreneurship is quite strong.
yep. There's
Yeah, and that spirit is getting in our way.
Oh, well, I mean, I suppose we could do something about it, but it might be a little rude.
Yeah, unfortunately, between the savory smells of fried meats and just the sort of the commotion and flair that the two merchants are putting on, the crowd seems pretty set on kind of stopping and wanting to get a piece of whatever's going on. And they're not really budging. It's almost like a human wall at this point.
Well, I feel a bit
Holy
bad
crap.
doing this, but I'm gonna point to a spot in the middle of the crowd, like 30 feet ahead of us, and I'm gonna use Druidcraft to make a 5-foot cube smell like the worst rotting meat possible.
Oh no. Is there any check or anything you need to do?
No, it's a tiny, harmless sensory effect. Just a
Oh.
cantrip. It's not a save or anything. It just smells bad.
So the horrid smell lingers and festers a moment in the area, and soon enough, the back ends of both lines start to catch a whiff of this horrible smell and turn around and look to the other. And um, some of the people are just like, "Oh, what is going on?" And they're just like, "Yo, this guy's selling expired swill." The other ones turning around, they're like, they're pretty much saying the same thing. Much to the point where people are kind of pushing and shoving over who dealt it, basically.
Aw, damn. I was just hoping to make them move.
Well, they are moving, but now you might have other challenges, but it's certainly not, the wall isn't immovable now.
Oh, goodness. I apologize. I was trying to make things better, but I think I made it worse. And now it's spells.
Man, worse for them, maybe.
Yep.
Let's see if we can squeeze on through now.
Okay.
So, we shall.
This one will require strength, as you'll pretty much just have to outshove everyone else.
Oh, no. Okay.
What's your athletics?
Oh, yes, you can do that.
2.
I got a 3. Do you think maybe I should give it a shot?
Probably.
Alrighty.
Any better chances, a better chance.
Yeah, Core will. He is taller. He'll give it a try. Oh, that's a 4.
Oh.
7.
7.
7.
Yourself?
I can guide it myself.
Would you like to throw in the guidance?
I'll do a guidance D4. That's a 3. 10.
So 10 total. That will be just enough to get past.
Almost average.
So, you push and shove through the argumentative crowds, and not long after you pass through, a brawl does somewhat start to break out, and more of the line is just kind of like collapsing. Some people are sort of looking in this and either kind of getting in on it, either cheering or just being all like, yeah, go get him, or they're kind of getting out of the way, kind of freaking out. They're like, oh, well, I just came here for food. I'm out of here. So.
Oh, goodness, I feel quite awful about that. Those poor merchants.
The merchants don't seem to pay much attention to it. But,
Their reputation is destroyed.
Yep.
Ruined.
Such as Broznov, that happens a lot around here.
Well, that's tough for them, but they'll probably try and make it big again with something new. Nothing like a little rebranding.
Perhaps
Yeah.
cabbages?
Indeed.
Reminds me, I should have bought the thing when the cabbage guy who did the voice for the cabbage merchant. I should have got to
Cabbages.
design the cabbage.
Damn. Oh well. But yeah, but you are able to make it to the stop. And here it looks more like a cart pit stop, actually, rather than like proper shops. There are a handful of carts, and many of the merchants who are parked there are more or less going over their inventory, or they're fixing up any damages done to their carts. Nothing too serious, just like few little like repairs, or repainting parts of the cart, or replacing pieces that have been chipped or broken off. So small things, really. But there's about 4 carts actually. There's 4 carts there that are parked up, and each of them have their crew sort of like looking over it and inspecting it, or taking care of their carts in some manner.
Any that are obviously busted? That look like they've crashed or something?
Upon immediately looking, no. This one looks like it's just small repairs. One of them does look like they're sort of like hammering in studs into their wheels, or like kind of like pushing things back into the axle, but nothing like a whole wheel's broken off or anything like. There's no major damage like that.
Okay. I'm just gonna go to the nearest group of people then.
All right. So we'll just go with the first guy, which is.
Yeah. Hello there.
And this guy is taking stock of his goods, and it looks to be some sort of metal worker. They're selling various metal goods, cutlery, knives, forks, small metal things. And he stops as he's checking off certain items and turns around and kind of greets you. It's like, yes, how can I help you? We're not open yet, but if you can give me but a moment, I'll have my shop ready.
Oh, no worries about that. I'm not looking to be buying at this moment. We're looking for a Gale. Do you know where he is?
Gale.
A couple. Well, this past night.
Roll a persuasion.
Man, I want to do it, but guidance is not super suck. Oh wait, never mind. I forgot. Guidance is actually just touch. There's no verbal component. Yeah, why not? I'll lean over and sort of pretend to dust some lint off her shoulder.
Thanks.
Cast guidance.
13.
I think I remember Gale. He's the exotics peddler. Well, I did hear about a commotion last night, and, I guess that must have been, old Gale. Well, if you're looking for his cart, it's not gonna be here. It's gonna be just down the block. There's a old house, old warehouse over there where they, fix up the big wrecks.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
I haven't seen the place, the cart myself, but I know one thing for sure. Whenever things get real messed up, they end up in there. Whew. I don't know what exactly happened, but it sounds like he got his cart run over by a big beast or something or whatever.
Oh goodness.
Yep.
A big beast running around here in the middle of night?
That's likely.
Terrifying.
More likely than you think. Them creatures up in the Badlands sometimes creep on down here. Tetsugar don't catch everything that comes slipping on by.
Ooh, dangerous.
Yep. My friend, he sells he sells repellents, for big beasts. You should give him a look.
Oh, beast repellent, you say?
Indeed, finest stuff. You shouldn't go out of town without it. Or in town, really.
Well, I'll definitely have to keep that in mind. Thank you, good sir.
Yeah, if we need to. Yeah, thanks for the info.
Of course, anytime. And stop by, as I said, in just a few moments. I'm just taking a last quick stock. I think some swindler made off with one of my finer knives.
Oh dear. Well, I hope you find it, and I will definitely come back and check your cart out next time I need more pork.
Well, if we have time anyway.
Take care.
You too, buddy.
So that's pretty much the first guy. It's the cutlery salesman.
Well, what a charming fellow. I definitely don't recommend buying any beast repellent, by the way.
Yeah, don't worry about that. And yeah, nice fella until they're hawking your ears off.
Yep.
Oh, well, they just love to chatter. That's
Even when they're off,
money.
even when they're off the clock, it's all about the moolah.
These are the merchants, not the makers.
Yep.
Anywho, let's check out this other shop.
Oh, sure.
Okay. This next merchant is actually a fabric merchant, and you see it's almost like a small pyramid, like square pyramid shape, on basically a big block with wheels, and you see at the top is a half-orc who's just kind of like inspecting his wares and setting up several bolts on racks on this like little pyramid of just like hangers essentially. He notices you and he's like, "Ah, come to buy some of my wares? I'm just starting to set up."
Maybe, but at the moment I'm just looking for some gossip, to be honest.
Oh, well, I sell in good fabric, but some good words is always fun if you are willing to trade with some good words.
Depends on the good words.
I like your cut. All right. What do you want?
I was seeing some things about a Gale guy that got attacked recently, this past night.
Oh, Gale. Pfft, yeah, what a chump. He got what was coming to him.
Not too fond of the guy?
No, he's been running my cloth business out of he's been running me out of my cloth business. The man's been getting some imports from somewhere up north. I tell you, I can't compete with whatever he's got. But I guess some hoodlums came and ransacked his shop in the night. Wouldn't you know? That's my biggest luck. Now I got nobody to compete with on the finest cloth.
Yeah, I suppose it is a lucky pick for you.
Right? No more of having to deal with whatever exotic pelts he's getting. I mean, that's not to say my stuff isn't good. My stuff's the best you'll find. But it's kind of hard to beat whatever the heck he's got right now. But I'm gabbing him up too much.
Broznov stuff, I assume? Broznov made?
Well, of course. Finest Broznov, the finest Broznov silks made by the finest Broznov hands, of course.
The best charming on its own, I think. You can keep his fancy furs.
Indeed. And at a fair price, I might say. And he even like rolls a little bit of the bolt and he's just like, "Try it."
Sure, I'll touch it.
So,
Does
you
it
kind of...
feel very nice?
It's passable.
That's
It's passable. This isn't the best quality stuff, but it's like, you know what? You're not gonna really find anything that great out here, anyways. But for what you're getting, it's not bad. This guy's definitely talking up his wares a lot more than it really is.
Not surprising.
He does mention though that he hears that whatever this gang did, they pretty much stole everything off the carts, picked it clean, and then made off with everything.
Oh,
Damn.
wow, goodness.
Yep.
That's terrifying.
Whole thing
Stay
looked.
safe out there.
Yep, it was crazy. Thing looked like a dried up skeleton being knocked over. It was an amazing sight.
Oh, you saw it firsthand.
Yep. Well, moments before the crowds gathered, I did. There's a few folk that apparently did see the thing. I didn't. I was, too busy, too busy getting my own wares. But first thing I got here in the morning, the thing was turned sideways and dry as a bone. That old halfling was in shambles, I tell ya.
Oh, well, do you
Poor
know
guy.
perhaps where we can find him to give him our condolences?
He's probably sobbing a river over in the warehouse by now. They'll fix his cart up, but he's not gonna be able to get his goods back. Serves him right, anyways. He's one of those merch. He's one of the merch guild lackeys, anyways. That's why he's able to get such good things. I tell ya. These gangs are ruining businesses.
You know,
Yeah,
it's fair.
sorry to hear it. Sorry to hear it. Well, next time I need some silk, I will come and check out your cart for sure.
Here, take a sample. And he grabs some of his like scrap cloth and he sort of hands you a small square piece of
Oh, thank you
fabric.
very much. Thank
It's
you. Thank you.
it's very much a rough piece of fabric, but it's the generosity is still, intended.
I mean,
I
hey,
will-
free shit.
I will immediately throw it,
Oh, yeah. Appreciate
fold it
it.
into one of those like little
Yeah.
rose napkin flowers, you know?
Yep.
Ah.
You get that pretty fast.
It's pretty much like it has the same kind of texture as like one of those nicer napkins, those fancy napkins at restaurants, but it's a little bit rougher.
Yeah, so I'll fold it into a little flower. Here you
Yeah.
go. And I'll give it to my new friend.
Oh, thanks. All
Alright.
right, sure.
With that,
You said free shit.
with that, he waves you off and goes back to sticking bolts on his the bolts of cloth onto his cart.
I don't know where to stick this. It's going somewhere.
I can put it in your hair if you'd like.
I think I'm good, but I appreciate. I appreciate the gesture.
No problem. Well,
What color is the cloth?
I would
It's
say
patterned.
it's not patterned. It is a dark green color, and it is frayed at the edges a bit. So the scissors that they were using to cut definitely left some damage on the cloth.
Well,
And yeah, it's definitely rough in texture, but it's softer than most things, so it's not that bad.
actually, no, dark green wouldn't go terrible with her if Taylor's out. Get up.
Yeah. To a beggar's eye, they would say that it would make a nice patch for any fix.
oh, wait a minute. That's a hint. One of us is gonna need to patch our clothes in the future.
Write that down.
Foreshadowing.
Write it down.
One of you is gonna have a rip in your pants, and you're gonna be ready.
No!
10,000 yen pants.
Oh my god. Well, I guess we should head to that warehouse since we've been hearing so much about it lately.
All right.
About it. Let's do. You can leave these guys and go to the warehouse proper.
Yeah,
All right.
I think so.
You you make your way south. I'll have you guys link up at this point as you're able to push through, and you pretty much meet near the south gate. And you see each other down the road, past the crowds, as you notice your dragonborn friend is carrying a big honkin' wheel, and your drow friend is carrying a icy wine.
What? What happened? Why do you have a wheel?
Why do you have wine?
Will you leave me
That's
alone
the
for 5
important
minutes?
question.
Don't look at me, look at the wheel.
I'm looking at both.
Yeah, Kira just kind of shrugs and just was like, "Yeah, we found it on the side of the road."
Is it? Dare I ask if it's important, or did you just pick up a random wheel?
I mean, it probably is the guy's.
Holy.
No one was claiming it, and there were people around it, but I'm assuming this was part of the attack at the very least.
I'm glad there's at least some logic to you having a wheel. I still don't get it, but you know, whatever.
You might want to take a closer look at the wheel. Brings a lot of questions as to who was involved.
Okay.
Squints that wheel.
We squint at the wheel.
In some form, we will note. We will see the fact that the axle was cut.
Mm-hmm. Also to note, the location of where the wheel was found somewhat corroborates with where the attack happened.
Yeah.
It lines up fairly neatly, much like the cut on the wheel.
Oh shit. Okay. That's new.
Interesting. Well,
Well, we have a few things to ask Gale then.
Yeah.
Beyond our initial ones.
definite.
We're in front of the warehouse, right?
Yeah, the
Or
warehouse is
around-
nearby.
Or at least can I see it?
Yeah, it's within visual. There's a fenced off area connecting to the road, and there's kind of a big old gate where you see just kind of like a wagon being pulled out, and there's a large building with a large set of, like, I would almost say like a hangar-sized doors kind of sliding open and closing, and there's no markings on it, but it's pretty big compared to some of the other like more commercial buildings around the vicinity.
I will point to the building. Thus we learned the scale fell out, or at least his card is somewhere inside.
Yeah, apparently this is where they take your card if you really, really mess things up.
Takes one look at the wheel. Yeah. Yeah. I think that
Apparently
warrants it.
His cart got tipped over too. If the guy we talked to is, I don't want to suggest he's being dishonest, but you know,
Take
setting it
everything you say with a grain of salt.
straight. Yeah. Which is not it's not nothing. But I suppose we'll get the information from Gale.
All right, you head off into towards the warehouse.
Yep,
Mhm.
unless there's anything else. But yeah.
Do you guys think that this perhaps could be a trap?
I always think it, well, maybe not always think, but I'm always prepared for it.
I'm just saying, our friend Mr. Ignatius is awfully friendly. Nothing against it, but he's a little sparse on some interesting details.
Well, have any of you committed wrongs against our friend?
Not that I know of, but key point, not that I know of.
Yeah, me neither.
I've never heard of him beforehand.
And, well, it may well not be necessarily a trap designed just for us, but perhaps there's things he's left out that make this job undesirable for him. That may be undesirable for us as well.
Looks at the severed axle. Yeah, it's just feeling sketchy the more we go. But
Yeah,
be
we're
honest,
all smart people, right? Deal with.
Well, at least 3 of you are, I'd hope.
who's not number 4?
Yeah.
Himself!
I see.
The rest of the campaign, we're just like, who's the one?
Okay, but who you were talking about right at the end of the
Yeah, who were you
campaign?
talking about?
Good, but
On your deathbed, level 20. Who were you talking about that
who was the
first
stupid
day?
one?
Yeah, who's the
It was
stupid
me!
one?
What? It was me, of course.
Yeah,
Oh,
man.
man.
Well,
Mhm.
now that I've put that terrible thought into your heads, let's go talk to Mr. Gale.
No, it was already there. Don't you worry. This isn't my first walk around the block.
Oh, well, it's mine. Definitely haven't been in this area before.
Not to disparage you, but I have noticed.
Oh, no! Whatever will I do?
Oh no.
Well, luckily I have 3 lovely ladies to show me around, so.
Well, at least you're charming.
I try.
I think that's out of burp. No.
Amazing. Elegance. Sheer elegance.
Lovely.
Such elegance.
You know what? It smells better than that meat, so.
Well,
Yeah.
You head on
To the
inside,
warehouse. Yes.
and sure enough, while normally the guards would sort of stop you, they notice the wheel in Akira's hands, and they ask if you are returning that wheel from a wreck.
Oh, I will definitely agree. I will say yes.
And
We definitely are.
yep, these guys are Tetsu guard. These are just like warehouse guard. So these guys are literally just just mercenaries paid to guard the warehouse.
Oh my god, they're mall cops.
Yeah, they're pretty much just mall cops. These guys don't have anything really. That's like they don't really have guns or anything. They're just yeah, they're just there to make sure you don't hop over the fence or break in. Really.
Well, damn. Credit where it's due, Akira.
Yep.
But you having that wheel came in handy.
Yeah? You're welcome.
I was slightly annoyed that it was useful. You just carrying a wheel, but whatever.
Yep. They let you
Works,
inside,
works.
and sure enough, you see a couple of like wrecked, like just kind of like scraps and wrecks of like carts, things that look like they're not going to be put back out on the road ever, off to one side. And on the other, there's just an open area with one cart with the side of it, and this thing looks like a wreck. But on the side of it, you definitely see Gale's Exotics Emporium.
Well, there you go.
Yep. And this thing definitely looks like it got hit by something big or something. As you can see, one wheel is in fact missing. Another wheel is bent in half. Then the sign almost looks like it's been bashed in. The sign that's like on the body of the cart on the side. It's just been like almost like something solid smacked into it and is just kind of caved in that sign as it's barely hanging on to the side of the cart. You hear in the side office the quiet weeping of someone who's just like not too far from the cart.
I'm gonna approach the cart. The guy we were talking to, the fabric salesman, said something about a beast doing this. Can I make a nature check to try to determine if that might be true?
Sure. What we got?
That's a natural 16 for a 20.
Ooh. So, this definitely seems like something unnaturally big hit it, but it's kind of difficult to determine whether this was actually done by any beasts. In fact, the kind of damage that was made, it's somewhat purposeful with how it's been struck.
I can help with that, actually. I mean, I'm technically not an animal, but also...
You are technically not an animal.
I'm technically not an animal, but I do have a lot of experience killing like an animal. So,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm like, would that even help? Yeah.
Maybe some sort of like with your own martial experience, I guess?
Yeah. Being like, if
Your own mindset.
I were to go animalistic on this cart, would I make this kind of damage?
What kind of check would that work for? It would definitely be some kind of intelligence check. I'll say I'll give you an intelligence with advantage for this. Kind of just going off of that.
Alright, let's see what I get. My intelligence. An 11.
An 11?
Yep.
So, just kind of visualizing yourself as if you were trying to attack this cart.
Yep.
You definitely kind of look at the placements of where the biggest, like, most apparent signs of damage are done, and it kind of makes sense to you. Like, if I wanted to, like, stop a cart, I would hit it here, and you kind of point out to where the bent wheel is, and it looks almost as though it's been sort of hewn from, like, the iron rim into the wooden spokes, and then to the other side, but not so cleanly to where it has to bend the wood and, like, bend the broken parts, forcing it on one side to break. and then it almost looks like you sort of place you place a closed fist on the sign, and it almost looks almost looks like it's a little bit small. Then you place sort of your knee and your foot, and he's like, it almost looks like you would probably just kick the damn thing over at that point. So it feels more like this was not so much done by a creature, but more like by someone, really. Despite the beastly-like damage that's been dealt to it, and kind of lines up like, no, these placed attacks were they were thought out.
Deliberately disabling it.
Yeah.
I suppose
So-
if you want to try and stop a card, you have to do that, but it
Yeah.
wasn't just random attacking. It was,
Yeah.
So this was
Very
either done
weird.
by someone who was very strong, or someone who knows how to tame and command a rhino,
Pretty much.
Well, I mean,
I mean,
or something of that size.
I'm gonna go with somebody very strong and intelligent.
looks at
It's
my
also
spell
that,
list.
like-
Looks away.
There's also that deliberate cut to the, the wheel, right? So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
not
Well,
accidental.
we can rule animal unless they're an animal person.
most likely. Well. Next, the only thing left to do is ask Gale himself.
Yeah, I suppose so.
It's
Yep.
indeed.
Gale is
Jeez.
found in the side office of inside the warehouse, crying.
Yeah,
Boy,
understandable.
I guess he supposedly has not really moved or left his cart side since since the attack. For context, by the way, just like the cloth salesman said, this thing was picked clean. There's not a trace of any things that he'd sell. So
Whole livelihood there.
yeah, man's entire stock gone. So, and this cart could definitely carry quite a bit of things. Not just cloth either. It was like built to carry a bunch of it's a variety of exotic goods. So, yeah, this guy really got robbed. I'm guessing you take the wheel with you, or do you leave it with the cart?
I mean, if they take it from me, I'm not gonna I could technically.
I don't
pull-
know.
I mean,
Could any of
depends.
us take
The
it from
focus-
you?
yeah. Are they gonna try to take it from me?
It's like they'll be like, can you leave the wheel here? No. Okay.
alright.
All right, I guess it's your wheel.
Well, I will take it to Gale if they
Yep.
don't actively try to stop me from doing so.
Nah, they won't. They assume that's what you're here for. And of course, Gale kind of looks up and he sees. They're like, he brought my wheel back. Thanks. I'll just set it here. I'm just waiting for the craftsman and the coin counter to show up and assess the damages for me.
Oh, my
Thanks for the
goodness.
wheel.
My good sir, have you eaten at all since the accident? You look terrible.
No, I haven't had an appetite since I got here.
Oh goodness. I'm gonna go through my bag and pull out an apple.
Yep.
You all got a knife on you?
This
Yeah,
halfling.
She goes through her scarf. The rat gives her the knife, and she gives it to you.
I should probably also note that
very
this is a rather sad kind of sight for you guys, because this halfling is he doesn't just he doesn't just peddle these exotic goods. He looks the part too. He's got this blue this blue sparkling robes and this pointed hat to look like he's some far off traveler from outside Broznov, and it's almost like the wizard from frick, what was that Disney movie? Oh God.
Fantasia.
The Fantasia, yeah, he's dressed almost like the Fantasia Disney wizard. Um,
What?
so,
Wizard of Waverly Place.
oh,
Wrong wizard.
no, not that wizard. So he's got this like blue conical hat with like a star, like like a pattern of like little stars, and like he's got a blue robe um, that's sort of what was it? It sort of has this like twinkle in it, like refracts light to sort of gives off this sort of shimmering look. And unfortunately, he's kind of it's more depressing than anything because he's just kind of like the man's face looks really just cried out, like he spent like half the day just crying over this cart. So,
Oh no, I'm gonna start cutting up this apple and peeling it into little rabbit slices and handing them off.
he just kind of like, as you hand him the little slices, he sort of takes his hat and he stuffs them into the hat and he sort of takes them piece by piece, when he gets the appetite, and thanks you.
And I just eat the core.
Oh, yeah. I'll just
Um,
hand you the core. They're like, "Here you go."
Literally just eats it. Just
Moan.
chomp it. Here it goes.
He does say that he can't compensate you right now for returning the wheel, but if he could, he would. But everything's gone, unfortunately.
Oh, no worries. We're not looking for compensation. In fact, if all goes well, maybe we can help you out some more.
I'd really appreciate that. I don't know if you could really, if you'd want, but I don't know if it'd be worth your time, really. But I suppose there's no harm in at least pointing you guys in the right direction.
Yeah, if we can recover anything for you, that would be for the best.
Yeah. Okay. With that, he sort of leans in and kind of looks to you guys. Tries to compose himself and, just sort of like, kind of makes like a sniffs back, to sort of compose himself and sighs. And then he kind of tries to recall back everything. But he does recall a few things, and so he says, this group, it was, I remember it was late, and I was taking my stock back to my house, and I remember it wasn't anyone big. At first I thought it was gonna be something like Syndicate or even those Yakuza thugs, but it was just some hoodlums. They're never too bad, and at worst they'll maybe grab a handful of your dailies in it works, but most of them, they don't tend to bug me, because I know people. But these guys, it's like they didn't really care, honestly. And the next thing I knew is that damn dwarf showed up and told me to stop, and well, it forced before I knew it, my cart was tilted. And then after that, I got sent flying. When I got up, I saw at least a dozen of them just take everything. It was a big guy too, real big guy. He took everything into a barrel and then just loaded it. I remember seeing that dumb dwarf had the smuggest grin laughing at me as he was watching his big ape of a friend take everything. Well, I know the guy. They call him Karazi Skit, a dwarf from the scrapyard. He's a up-and-coming ganger. He wasn't much until, I guess I'm his first hit for something big. But yeah.
You only know the dwarf? Don't know the big guy?
Never seen anything like it. Looked big. Too hairy for a Vitten, though. But I mean, half of those, half of those half giants. I mean, they come straight from Fjordheim, and those guys are dressed like dressed like mammoths, really. So he could have been one of the Fjords locals, knowing them. They never like to put on anything from Broznov.
The dwarf that he mentioned, does that name ring anything to me?
Karazi? Knowledge. But there's no knowledge local. Knowledge. Let's do history.
No knowledge. Thank you.
There's no history.
History.
There
Intelligence.
is history. There's
There is
history.
history.
There's
There is
history.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's an
But
eight.
it's not knowledge.
Yeah, it's
Or-
not knowledge.
Make a history check. Sorry, I tend to refer to Pathfinder in 3.5 terms a lot.
That's
No.
why,
Yeah.
that's why we constantly remind you.
Thank you.
Come
That
on.
is the sixth one this session.
Make
A 3.
Oh.
make an advantage check. You have taken too many ones this session, guys, for session 1.
17.
17.
it's
Okay.
So good.
concerning.
Um.
Enough for experience.
Yep.
Yep.
I have countermeasures for this, at least for session, at least for this beginner session. After that, we have to, the training wheels kind of come off.
Yeah.
But
We roll even more natural ones.
Yeah.
yeah. But Karazi himself is actually he used to be an old kingdom well, not so much a big shot, but he definitely acted like one. And he got kicked out some years ago.
God.
Yeah, he ended up actually causing a lot of troubles in the Old Kingdom, and eventually he just they booted him out, which is how he's found himself at the scrapyard. But since then, he has been making some connections with various dubious characters out there. No one big, but every now and again his name comes up in a mugging or in a little crime circle that the Tetsugard end up finding and shutting down. But never anything too serious like this.
All time stuff, relatively speaking.
Yeah. Like,
And
this
definitely
is...
not attacking a cart owned by one of the major gangs.
Yeah. Never hitting a cart owned by the major gangs. And it's not like your pal here is like a nobody kind of dude. This is a guy he's a known mark.
Yeah.
As in, like, people don't tend to really fuck with merchant guild merchants on the basis that that usually invites the merchants guild. And nobody wants that.
Yeah.
Nobody wants the mafia to come to your house. So that's kind of what this is. This is kind of a bold move on this guy's part. As for the gang itself, they tend to call I mean, they crop up and then eventually the Tetsuguards stamp them out. This new group is well, almost ironic in the nature of how the things were stolen, but they're called Akri's Barrels.
Oh.
And just true to his branding, he stole everything and stuffed it into barrels and pretty much hauled it off.
Is the main guy Vinton?
He doesn't
Karazit?
No,
Oh, the big guy?
yeah. About the
Gale
He said that he
isn't
didn't know.
sure. He says he was big like a Vitten, but he couldn't get a good look. He also looked a bit hairy, but it's that it might be because he was wearing Fjordheim clothing. So it's kind of hard to tell.
Yeah, I was just mixing things up.
But also weird because they have history with dwarves, so unless this guy shook it off.
Hmm. They do got a beef with dwarves. So how your buddy Karazi has an in with a Vitten is beyond you, but not impossible either. You know, stranger things have happened.
Yeah,
Money
but,
is a great motivator.
they may not care. Also, this guy did get kicked out of the dwarf mafia, so
Yep.
True.
Or at least he got kicked out of the
Where the dwarves live.
where the dwarves lived. He might not he may or may not have been
oh,
with
yeah, that too.
the kings.
Kings and Kingdom.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Still, he did piss off a bunch of dwarves.
Yep. He pissed off enough dwarves for them to basically say you can't hang out with us. You can't live with us.
Exiled from
You can't sit with us.
I can't sit.
You can no longer
sit
hang
this
out.
lunch
You
table
have to go and
anymore.
hang out with the humans and the elves and the Vitten.
Damn.
Rough.
And then he just pretty much was like, all right.
Well, Taylor can't really judge him for that because look at her. She's at her. I mean, maybe not pissing off Old King, but you know.
Well, oh, sorry.
Nope.
You're good.
Well, if everything's settled and our friend here is calmed down somewhat, we have a location and a name, yes?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That we do.
I want to know who the big guy is.
I have a feeling we're going to find out soon.
Me too.
He just smiled.
I'm sure he's going to be very kind.
Yay.
Oh, I hope not.
Citizen.
You're being sarcastic, right?
Always.
Just checking. What's
If
the scrapyard?
he's an upstanding citizen, I am a charismatic preacher.
Oh. I'm looking forward to your sermons.
What's the scrapyard like exactly, by the way?
Well, the scrapyard. Well, it's
I assume it's fairly self-explanatory, but
yeah,
still.
it's sort of like the smaller version of the industrial area of well, Old Kingdom, where if Old Kingdom is like where the big factories are, the scrapyard is, well, where the smaller stuff goes. A lot of the things that kind of end up in the scrapyard are junk. So undoubtedly, your buddy's cart here will likely end up at the scrapyard at some point, if it's unsalvageable. So things that can no longer be fixed or repurposed pretty much end up in the scrapyard. They're your more or less the recycling. That's known for its big junk pile that sort of sits in within the center of the subdivision, but also throughout the area. There's just like mounds of just junk, just kind of laying around. Lots of debris. Plenty of people come in, often tinkerers for looking for loose items, like to make something of, as well as vultures coming to pick clean whatever to add on to their things. But there's also various workers who come in either for work or for aid, or just to sort of, turn over whatever they have to try and sort of sell it and start over, really. So a dwarf like Karazi would actually it would be his ideal place if he was kicked out, really, because he'd kind of be at home.
I'm just wondering a bit. But yeah, I guess we start heading on over there.
Well, is there anything we can get for you before we head out, Mr. Gale?
Well, I don't know. Really, if there's anything, I'd really just like my money back so that I could just get my livelihood back in order. But,
Of course.
probably by now that's all that money and goods is gonna be stuffed in the pockets of those dirty creatures.
Well, we'll have to see. Maybe we can recover something.
Much appreciated. Good luck. And, yeah. I'll be here. Oh, there is something I do kind of remember. I remember seeing a guy there who didn't really look like a hoodlum. I don't remember much of it, but he looked like a samurai, but I don't know. He didn't come in and help. If you see a guy, never mind. There's so many of those guys running around, I'm sure he just couldn't be bothered.
Oh, can you describe this samurai for us?
I mean, you know, they're all dressed the same. It's the loose-fitted clothes, the sword on the hip, and, well, just some kind of look to him. He looked like a half-orc, though.
Interesting. Oh, we'll keep an eye out. Maybe it was just a coincidence.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
Lord. It wasn't a coincidence.
anyways, good luck out there.
You too. Try not to
Scrap
try
yard.
too much.
Yeah.
Get some fluids in you.
Yep.
Yeah, you should eat or
Some-
drink something.
Yeah, and some
More than
sleep.
an apple.
My
He kind of like holds up his hat and kind of gestures like he's gonna eat the rest of the apples you made him or cut for him. And then with that, he, you know,
Better than
you
nothing.
leave.
well, at least we'll get some vitamins in them. Some vitamins.
Who the scrap yard though? And I need to beer beat.
Alrighty.
Scrapyard.
Yay. To the
Scrap.
scrap yard. I'm ready to scrap.
Ready to
Yeah.
scrap.
That's what the scrap yard is for, right? We scrap in the yard, right?
Sure.
Yeah. Scrap people.
You have a very vivid imagination, Akira. I like it.
Amount of alcohol consumed. Like, should I change the subclass to Way of Drunken Fist instead?
Drunken fist achieved.
This was not my intention, but I'll take it.
I mean, to be fair, one hangover, one glass of wine. It's not too
I see you are a student of the ways. Alright.
Scrap yard. Scrap
Well,
yard.
the scrapyard is not far. In fact, a brief, maybe 40-minute walk from the merry-go-round brings you to the what do you call it? The scrapyard, and it is just as it's described. It is a series of just buildings all over the place. However, almost rivaling some of these smaller buildings are just piles and piles of just junk, metals, goods, just discarded items. Typically just like mostly metals and wood pieces in various states of dismay and disrepair. Just kind of pile high into small mountains of junk. And they create an already labyrinthine-like layout of the city into more and more alleyways and just dead ends that are just sort of caved in by these piles of junk.
unfortunate.
Yep. Here, the foot traffic is drastically smaller than compared to the merry-go-round, which is an active buzz of people up and down. Here you won't find many people, and the ones you do are often either scavengers who are looking to pick a few nicer pieces of junk to take home, or laborers who are sifting through small little wagons full of just junk to organize.
Goodness. I'm not even sure where to start.
Should start looking out for the big guy.
I mean,
Yep.
that would be helpful. Big guy.
I'm gonna
Things
look out
would
for
be
the big
easy
guy.
to
Honestly,
spot.
look out for anybody here.
Man. Most of the folks here are pretty easy to tell apart between the scavengers and the workers. Most of the scavengers often have various like tools and goods that tools and items that kind of are helpful for inspecting and looking over items, while the workers out here have well, they have a very utility-like suits, like sort of like not really like a suit, like almost like a working suit, and their faces are have a big like handkerchief kind of like sort of covering the lower half of their face, as well as helmets on the top.
Safety first.
Yep,
Yeah,
safety
I
helmets.
mean, perhaps we should follow suit. Or has a little scarf around his neck. He'll pull it up and
I'm
tuck
back.
it in underneath
Welcome
his
back.
glasses.
Weird scrapyard. You're looking.
You should, yes. I'm pretty sure I have enough toxins in my body already that a little more is fine.
What?
Just a
Excuse me?
Just a little more
What's
alcohol to
happening?
go with this alcohol.
Well, I'm surprisingly hardy in that regard, but it does smell a bit awful.
What's happening? What did I miss?
You've been outside of a tavern late at night?
Well, I mean, I do live in the Hanging Gardens, so yes.
Yeah, compared to the Hanging Gardens, this place is atrocious.
Soon.
I mean,
Right at home, baby.
Hanging Garden definitely does not have, it definitely has its less than pretty areas, but few things can really compare to the scrapyard. You know, certain points of the inner sea point could maybe be a contender, but that's only because you get the rank smell of fish to go with it.
Oh, surprisingly, that doesn't actually bother
Fish.
me. Well, what's the plan then, gang?
Gotta find the big guy.
Yeah, we gotta find the big guy.
The big guy.
How shall we find the big guy?
So I
yeah,
have to
he's
keep on
large.
asking. What's this?
Hmm?
This dwarf. What's his name? Or like, how do you spell it?
Karazi Skit. So I'll spell it here in chat for you.
Yeah.
Oh, good, because I'm bad at spelling and I just guessed.
I didn't even hear it.
Probably really bad.
I just
Oh
spelled
my
it out
God.
as Grazi. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, Grazit?
Karazi Skit.
Oh yeah, way off.
The hire a samurai gif.
I didn't even
Hire
hear
a
the last
samurai.
syllable of that. Well, for one, I don't think it's a good idea to split up this time.
Oh no, probably not. It's a bit dangerous around here, don't you think?
Mm-hmm.
Probably
What?
would be.
Indeed.
Hmm.
Okay.
We all do have separate eyes, though, so...
Oh, do we?
Are you not?
Yeah. I gotta look for the big guy.
Find the big guy and beat him up.
Guy. Exactly. Thank you, DM. I'm glad that you understand the
I-
plan.
I know how you roll, because that's how I roll. Find the big guy and beat him up.
This is not prison.
Not yet.
It's not, but it is Broznov. Sometimes the rules still apply in the same manner.
Yeah.
Well, shall we just start wandering around, or shall we have a plan of attack? No, Akira, attacking is not the first thing we're going to do when we spot him, by the way. Just to clarify.
I cannot just be
She
attacked.
just looks a little sad. The
I'm
rat
sorry.
judges you.
I'm very sorry, but we did just have this conversation, I feel like, literally earlier today, where we decided that that wasn't going to be the first thing we did.
Fine.
Let's try something
But if
new.
it doesn't work out,
Of course,
my
if it
way.
doesn't work out, please, by all means, utter destruction.
woo!
Rather
Dad
than just
said I
wandering
can
around-
destroy things.
Oh my god. Rather than just wandering around blindly, I'd rather get the lay of the land.
Alrighty. Just kind of get an understanding. We have
I'm
a
good at
script.
talking to people, so I'd like to go around talking to people. At least ostensibly, I'm good at talking to people.
Alrighty. Roll me investigation. Just to kind of get a feel for who you could find that might be helpful, and then I'll have you roll persuasion.
Oh, I see. That's fair.
Yeah. Find the people and then talk to them.
16.
16. You do find some. You do find some workers who are on break who seem to at least get a. They look a little. I guess seasoned is the best way to describe them. And they seem to be willing to spare a moment of their time for you.
What can I? Trying to. Ideally, I'd like to use deception over persuasion.
Okay. Did you want to use deception then?
Partly because what Taylor's better at, but also partly because I don't want to be a little bit subtle about asking after this Karazi guy.
Yeah. I mean, you are definitely in his home turf, that's for sure.
Yeah, so I want to be subtle about this. I don't want to bring attention to us until we have to.
Yeah.
Well, I'll follow your lead, so.
Well, the roll isn't terrible, but the result is okay.
What we got?
14.
14. How would you kind of word your question to make it a deception?
That's what I have like a vague idea, but a little bit difficult to. It's like working around to asking about Karazi, I suppose. But that's the persuasion. It's like, how do I explain this? I mean,
Maybe you could say like you're looking for the most macho, toughest dude around here because you hear that someone's making waves and you want to work for him. Would that kind of be sort of the direction?
yeah.
All right.
Ultimately, it is asking about him without like directly asking about him, but that would work.
Well, they definitely seem like they know something, but they don't really, they don't give you anything too direct. They say there's been a dwarf running around that's been trying to make himself be big. Here he's somebody that got kicked out from the from Old Kingdom. Guy's causing all sorts of trouble, but I mean he's been making money from what I heard. He's somewhere in this mess. I'm sure you dig deep enough and you'll find him.
Well, all those points are why he caught my interest, and why I'd like to see what he's about.
Well,
I also heard he's been around a big guy too. You heard
Big-
anything about that?
big guy. Well, we got lots of big guys running around here, of course, and he kind of points out to some of the Vinton who are working around here, sort of hauling off larger carts of scrap and junk. But if you're looking for someone specific, well, Don't know where to tell you on that one.
Yeah, I suppose I don't have much more to go off of. Just heard about Grazi being around a big guy. Or maybe the big guy's around Grazi? I don't really know.
Oh, did you say Karazi?
Yeah.
And they say like, whoa, hey, you looking for the big guy Karazi? Oh, so there's a hydrate. Sorry. You're looking for the big guy Karazi.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the dwarf I'm looking for. That is the dwarf, right?
The Karazi is a dwarf.
Double checking. Double checking my brain.
Totally not a borrowed name from another series that I very much enjoy. Or at least from another language. Anyways, they kind of give at least the one you're talking to kind of gives a more cautious sort of glance with you, and they're just like, I don't think you'd want to really go around associating with that guy. I think he's gone real off the deep end.
Oh, really? I haven't heard about that yet.
He's the man with he's the man with a dozen failed plans. Ain't you heard of him? And all of his racketeering gigs? Tetsugards stamp him out at least twice a month.
I mean, I definitely heard about him, but I didn't think it was that bad.
Yeah.
It's pretty bad.
If you want to make money, you don't work for Karazi. How's about that? Yeah. Unless you don't mind enjoying your square meals by the Tetsugard. Can't say they're good. Not that I've ever been in a cell. But some of these guys, you know, they don't really they don't definitely ain't angels that come out here, if you catch my drift.
I mean, I'm not expecting angels, but I was expecting competency, but I guess that's lacking with him.
Well, if they were competent, they wouldn't have been caught and wound up here. Eh.
That's a fair point. Okay, well, I'm glad I've talked to you then. I almost made a big mistake.
Yep. I'd watch your step around here. Not everybody thinks so lowly of the guy. Some of them they've been buying into his spiel lately.
Oh, I have light feet. Don't you worry.
Well, there's that, and worst comes to worse. Well, let's just hope you're faster than your friends. They'll eat you alive.
Looks at dwarf 25-foot movement speed. No.
Oof.
Try some dwarf.
Oof, I've got bad news for you, friend. You will probably be the friend left behind.
I'm not gonna be the faster one.
But yeah, with that they they get back off their break and go back to work.
Yeah. Not quite what I was looking for, but that is actually still useful information. Alright. I'll move back to where these three are at.
Yeah.
Karazi doesn't have a great reputation around here, it turns out.
Ooh. Oh, that's interesting.
It's a mixed
fucked
it's a
up a
mixed
lot.
bag.
Yeah. I mean, I read it as like not great.
You gotta be real desperate if you
Yeah.
if you're working for Karazi.
Yeah.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I suppose Core is poking around the pile looking for a little critter. Maybe like a little bird or a rat or something.
It's going so far, Shadow.
Gold
It's
over
going so
there.
far pretty good. I'm
Oh,
just
they're friends, I guess.
kind of muted, but yeah, we're
Rat looks at you.
going pretty solid.
Well,
Enjoy your meal, bro. By the way.
the best way to make friends is sometimes with gold. So you might be
Oh.
better off panning for gold, actually.
Maybe.
Yeah, your best critters you'll find
Squints.
here are gonna be
Is that- wait,
vermin.
are we talking about the same kind of friend?
Most
Maybe.
of your nature's allies are gonna be vermin, unfortunately.
That's fine. Core is not above rats or anything like that. They're still nature's wonders.
Rat looks at you less judgingly.
You appeased the rat.
He's the rat.
Your sins may yet be forgiven.
Nothing wrong with rats.
Oh, that sounds good. Fried rice, leftover steamed fish with soy sauce.
Oh no.
Mm.
So you're talking about the rat. I was like, oh my goodness.
Delicious, delicious rat. We back on Project Zomboid. Nothing like freshly killed cockroaches and rat. Mm.
Oh my god.
The
Make
rat
me a shish
judges the
kebab.
DM.
Oh no!
Rat transcends the fourth wall.
Yeah, if I can find a rat, I'll
Rat god.
give it a little look and cast Speak with Animals.
You speak with animals. You want to just like try and find some creatures around here.
Yeah, I want to do a little check.
You could do. I guess a knowledge nature would make sense for this. Yeah,
Nature.
yeah,
check.
nature check.
Got it.
Not knowledge nature, but nature check.
17.
Awesome. You are able to kind of find what what appears could possibly be a good spot for a rat to make their home, and sure enough, you find a local rat, and you converse with the rats using
Yes,
your.
I will greet the rat.
Yep.
Probably pull out some little scraps from my bag and hand them over as an offering.
Well, the rat being the rat, it is like, oh, food. Ah, yes, good. And
Yeah, I'll let it crawl up my arm. Hello. I have a little bit more where that came from. If you can answer some questions for me.
ooh, more food? Yes, I have answer. Yes, you have
Now,
food.
I'm looking for a very large man, but very specifically, large man, very furry.
Hmm. Hairy man. Hmm. Well, many men here are large, but hairy, not so much. Yes.
Escape is coming out.
Trying not to
Yes.
not to say yes, yes. I'm trying so hard.
I understand.
I am so tempted to just do Skaven talk, and I'm like, no.
I can hear it. I can hear the Skaven.
Stupid man thing. You will give cheese to rat. Yes, yes.
Oh god.
But yeah, to kind of put it, the rat says that there's a lot of people. He gonna want some more cheese or more
Oh yeah,
more scraps.
I'm gonna keep giving him every time he gets like even answers like the smallest question. Gotta give him a reward. You know that's how it works. That's how you train an animal. Every good behavior gets a little treat.
That's clear. Just watching you bribe a rat and speak to it.
Yep. And it's just like chittering back, whispering about the warp. I mean about the tall man.
Now we're just chittering to each other.
Okay.
Make a. I don't. Would a persuasion work for this? Yeah, we'll do a persuasion with this to try and coax more from it. It'll be an easy check.
Persuasion.
Persuasion.
10.
10. That's good enough.
Not terrible.
Yes, very good tasting. Yes, this is very fresh. Fur man. Yes, I think. I see him. He here in dark time. Yes. No lights. I see him stomp around. He's very loud. Very, very annoying. I remember he was with even louder, smaller man.
More
He-
treats. Keep 'em coming. Keep 'em coming.
Another persuasion.
Okay. Persuasion.
Hang on one second, sorry. One quick second.
We are the rat.
may not be one of my favorites. I use it all the time on Zara. Well, to be fair, Zara uses speak with plants.
Well, it's a good thing you don't have that.
Not yet.
I mean, not yet, but better question is how much use are you gonna get out of it? Because there's
You
not
would
a-
be surprised. Well, I guess true. In Broznov, it might be hard. But I mean, algae is plants, moss, mold, mushrooms.
You've talked to Moss before.
Yeah, and mushrooms. The mushrooms were tripping.
Oh yeah.
That's surprising.
Mushroom network.
Yeah, I mean, all things considered, the fungus would be the best plant to talk
yeah,
to.
they
Those
would.
things.
They're
Can you
great.
imagine talking to one and they're like, "I am Legion."
I
Oh,
mean, that's
no.
that's how it kind of was.
Sorry about that. So,
Acres of
What's it,
entity at
20?
the same
uh,
time.
21 for persuasion.
Yeah.
Okay. He does remember some things, and he says, "Big man, he's not from here. No, he's elsewhere. But he come here many time. Yes, he helped Loudman. Loudman over in big house, big house. Yes."
Which direction is this big house? From here, behind us, ahead of us?
Roll persuasion.
Let's go. It's an 8.
8. I'll say it carries over from, a bit of it carries over from the last success. So, the rat then climbs up along your shoulder and then kind of up on your head, and then it kind of points himself in a direction. He says, "Big house, and he points over and he says, "You see here," and he's not so much pointing at a building and pointing at a very, very tall pile of just junk. House there.
Oh, thank you very, very much. That's very helpful. More treats.
Yep.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Just poking above the buildings is, of course, a mountain of junk, and you'll have to just sort of navigate your way through. But presumably, that's according to what the rat says, where your friend, or well, not your friend, but where homeboy's at.
Oh, well, thank you very much. Now, here's
Yep.
one last little treat. I'll give him like a big old cracker. You take
Yep.
that home to your friends. Have a good time. Or, of course, no judgment. Don't have to share it at all if you don't want to.
And with a content squeak, he grabs it and just kind of scampers off. All right,
Nice
give me.
fella. I'll just look at the others like, nice fella.
All right, give me one quick second.
If you
Sorry.
say so.
Yeah. Now, if there's any ideas or plans you guys want to come up with, well, I'm just gonna take care of something real quick. This will be the time. Or any thoughts you guys want to share.
Yeah, I'm gonna
I'm
hold out a
assuming.
What-
cracker for
what-
Akira's
what-
rat, too.
Oh, get you. Feeding our rat.
Yeah.
Of course.
What'd you learn from your buddy over there?
Oh, yes. Well, we had a lovely conversation about life and the journeys one takes, and also that a large, hairy man sometimes helps a shorter, louder man who lives in a house over there, and I'll point to the pile.
Oh, that's a direction.
It's a direction. At least it prevents us from having to search this whole place from top to bottom.
I was near the little guys that had more wisdom.
Oh, of course, they see everything, and smell everything, and honestly, taste everything also.
Looks
The
at the
rat.
Kira's rat.
He looks at you judgingly.
He's eating a cracker.
Done. Cries.
Not what you haven't done. He just touches everyone.
It's funny, this spell lasts for 10 minutes. Wait, how long does it last? I think it lasts for 10 minutes. So yeah, I'll just say to Akira's rat, You're still my favorite.
It appreciates the sentiment. It already knows, though. It agrees
Says
with
back,
you.
I know.
I know.
I know.
Core and the rat already have. Actually, the truth is, we have backstories together.
What,
Just
is this a
the rat.
backstory drop?
The rat backstory.
Backstory.
The rat is actually a
Yes.
paladin.
I'll
Oh
be
my
back.
god.
Well,
It's
rat
the
just
true
smite someone.
polymorph rat paladin.
Oh yeah.
Such a tragic
yeah, they were.
backstory.
No, it wasn't even tragic. They're like a level 20 paladin, and they're just like, you know what? I'm tired. I'm retiring and becoming a rat.
That's what I wanted.
You know what? Level 20 mood right there. I'm so done with this.
I've
Becomes
done
rat.
everything. Becomes rat. Unlike the druids who just say, I've done everything. Becomes tree.
It's tree. That's boring though. I want to eat trash.
Wanna eat trash.
So I guess the plan will be we
Beat
go
a
to
possum.
that pile. We go there.
Yeah.
Become an opossum, become a big rat.
Oh, that's true. You also get to play dead.
Oh,
It's true.
true.
Like-
Possums are really cute. I don't know why
They
people
are
say
cute.
they're ugly. I think they're cute.
I think they're
Have-
cute too.
That quality, I can see why people are saying they're ugly, but I think they're cute.
Yeah, those are the same people who think that rats aren't cute though. So
Oh, but
Yeah.
rats are cute.
Unless you have a phobia of rats.
I mean
To be
that's a different thing.
Yeah.
To be fair, if I saw a giant rat like in the subway, I would be a little freaked out, but I still think they're kind of cute.
They are.
Very cute. Mice are cute too. Just kind of like rodents in general. They're
Oh
cute.
yeah, mice are super cute.
I don't mind seeing rats, but when I see like what's something that oh right, a skunk. No.
Oh, I don't think skunks are cute, and I'm only terrified of them in that I don't want them to spray, right? So I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna
I
respect
think
your
they
space.
can
I
be
think-
cute, but if they don't, you know.
You know, skunk is also fair because I think that's a very valid concern to have, is not
Yeah.
wanting to get sprayed. Because that will linger.
Oh god, it's the worst. Yeah, I grew up near the mountains, and
Really?
goodness, that smell. Oh my god, it's strong.
Yeah.
I haven't smelt one before, but I've seen multiple.
Ooh, you're lucky you haven't.
This
They smell awful. It's just terrible. I would always wake up
God.
and know that a skunk had gone off nearby because it would like drift in the window, and you're like, oh god, not again.
Cut got
Yeah.
off.
I've skunk. It's appropriate. I have smelled skunk. At the old place, there were always animals that, like, just about it. Always were. We've
And
smelled skunk a few times.
we get lots of deer wandering down. We get skunks and possums. The occasional bear. The occasional mountain lion.
Luckily, we don't
Mountain.
have those latter two things because it's the middle of Michigan. But I mean, Michigan. There are some bigger cats. I think. I'm pretty sure there aren't any bears around here. But there is, like, some kind of cat. I believe. That's
Like,
further up north. I
Maybe
think.
bobcat.
Bobcat? Yeah.
Yeah, bobcats.
Oh,
I
and
think
coyotes. Lots of coyotes.
That's further up north, like the bobcats. Wasn't really where we used to live.
Come to where I live. We have them all.
We got everything.
I'm not driving 2 hours just to see a Canadian bobcat.
How,
you
but
can look
does it
for
have a
moose.
passport? The moose.
Okay,
Meese.
I'm back.
God.
Nice.
Mooses.
Welcome back.
Welcome
Anyways,
back.
we're
I'd-
rolling
I'd-
initiative.
I'd be willing. Are we?
Why are we
Oh
fighting?
yeah, let's get this
PvP
party
right now.
started.
PvP.
I want to see a moose actually. Though. Those things are huge.
No, we're
Moose?
gonna go to the pile.
Little
We just talked
scary.
about rats and
I know
mice
this.
and
They're
cats.
huge.
The moose is loose.
Sometimes I forget how big a moose is, and then I remind I'm reminded of a video I saw where it was just straight up bigger than a car. I'm like,
Oh,
holy
yeah.
crap!
Oh,
Yeah.
that one video where it's like a hiker hiding behind a tree and the moose just like walks by and you're like, holy cow.
No, they are big dudes.
Yeah.
They swim. Like, what the fuck?
Yep. They
There's no
sometimes
escaping
get
'em.
killed and eaten by orca.
I know it's
Yeah,
wild.
like somebody was saying like, yeah, one of the common foods that orcas eat are moose. And you're like, wait a second.
Yeah,
Oh,
they go deep enough into the water to just get eaten by moose or orca.
Nature's back.
Nature is whack.
Yeah,
there's-
it's either that or like one of the moose natural predator is an orca, and you're like, wait.
How?
Wait.
Huh.
Hold up.
Unfortunately,
Species
it
of
checks
orca
out.
dropped. How terrifying that is, like an orca with legs.
Oh my god.
Orca men attack.
Anyway, junk. Gotta go.
Yeah, we're going to the junk pile. We're heading that
Yep.
direction.
Alright. Well, unfortunately, the most direct route is not feasible as it's, there's other smaller scraps of, or piles of scrap and junk and buildings that block your way. You'll have to navigate this labyrinth of area, I guess for lack of a better word, to reach the end of and to the actual place. So for that, you will have to make. We'll make this a survival check.
Survival.
Yeah,
Survival. I'm
Yeah,
gonna,
you're in a concrete jungle, baby.
I'm gonna give myself a little brush on the shoulder and cast some guidance. Ooh, I'm gonna need it.
I will check my
Yeah,
chart of
sure, why
fun
not?
things that may or may not occur.
Let's try to survive. Nah, that's a 7th
Alright,
one,
that's
by
a
the way.
13.
I'm counting these ones because they're funny.
Oh boy.
Oh my god.
Wow.
Number one.
So who got what? I see a 15, a 16.
Oh yeah, I got
Oh,
a
I
13.
didn't roll.
Oh,
Sorry,
yeah, we didn't roll.
I'm rolling
Yeah.
in D&D.
Yeah,
you
I'm
want
the only
all
one
of us
that
to roll?
rolled, so
Oh. So what were you guys' results?
13.
it was just me, boss. I got a
Only.
3.
So 13,
Out of
3.
us, it was just.
No,
Kieran.
just me. It's
Oh.
just
No,
a
no,
3.
no. Kel
Nobody
rolled
else
two.
rolled.
Kel rolled two.
I rolled 2. I'm just not
Yeah.
using Discord. I have a
Yeah,
chat
everyone-
on D&D Beyond,
yeah.
so I'm just rolling them.
Yeah. It's just both of us didn't roll.
Corey got a 13. Akira got a natural 1.
Okay.
Again.
Again, oh, look, a natural 1.
And then Shen,
There it is.
what'd you get?
Oh, I didn't roll. Did you want all
Did you
of us
want
to
us
roll?
to roll?
Yeah, collectively.
Okay.
Oh, good check, good check.
I am not helping out with this.
Just hoping on the dice and really. 16's pretty good. 14's pretty good.
14.
Not terrible. Actually, 16 and 14 are pretty good. Legitimately.
Alright, well, thankfully, someone is able to get their bearings and, able to navigate the rest of you guys. But, it requires you clambering through, some rather difficult piles of, trash to navigate, or to climb over. And, at points, well, the scrap piles kind of collapse on top of you. So I'll say the DC. I'll say the DC for you guys. The DC you had to beat was 14. So for those of you that pass, you take half, but everyone else will take 2 damage.
Oh, I'm dead.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
Sounds
you
like a
squished.
great day.
But
Yeah, okay.
yeah. So 2 damage and then 1 damage if you passed.
Ow.
Meeting passes, right?
Meeting passes, yeah.
Okay.
Meeting is a critical fail.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's
Yes, I
very-
die.
That's a very strange and
You will take
specific rule.
4 damage.
Spontaneously combust.
But anywho, yeah. So you're able to pass through. Make one more survival check.
Alrighty, here we go.
All of us again?
Yep.
For D-
Everybody make survival, and then me. Whoa, nat 20, nice.
Whoa.
I went from
Oh
a 1 to a 20. This is
What a
range.
interesting. This is an interesting thing so far, boss.
The duality of Nuffle.
The
Nuffle
duality
taketh
of
and
Nuffle.
Nuffle giveth.
I got a 16.
Nice.
I think
Well,
Nice.
You all did well.
How many
In fact,
people
well
was
enough that
rolling on that
no hazards
20?
occur.
Yay!
Nice.
look at us go.
Um,
We know what we're doing. So cool.
in fact, the one hazard that does kind of, yeah. The one hazard that does come up ends up becoming rather a detriment. Becomes a benefit to you, as part of the collapsing pile that you sort of navigate ends up becoming a bit of a bridge between a building and another pile, and so you're able to basically kind of cross a whole section of a neighborhood just by kind of climbing over the, just climbing on top of a scrap of junk, and then getting onto a rooftop, and then just climbing down from there.
You know, usually when I say I enjoy hiking, I mean in the mountains, but this is pretty entertaining too.
Yeah.
Different kind of mountain.
Insane.
A mountain of junk.
Mountain of junk. And from the rooftop, as you climb down, you see the base of this big mountain of trash, and just discarded metals. And at the very front of this mound is, well, what looks to be some sort of like fenced-off workshop area. There are various rowdy individuals who are working around and working with the big pile. Some of them are grinding it down into various machines that are parked outside, while others are using what do you call it? They're just kind of using some tools to sort of either solder things together or pull them apart. Several of them are sitting against a crossbeam that's been partially melted on one side and bent in a weird shape on the other, but has now been repurposed into a makeshift bench. And a small gathering of them, men and women, are just sort of sitting on it and just kind of eating food and sort of pointing and laughing at some of the other workers. They're having a good old time.
Okay.
How
And,
cheerful.
yep. But there's also a fair collection of, despite the fair collection of individuals, of which you count 8, there's no sign of any door for large furry man.
Hmm. I wonder if our friend was mistaken. To be fair, though, he did say that he saw the man at night. Quite night yet.
We can also just ask around. Perhaps some of these folk know our man.
I'm worried about asking too much after him, but might have to.
Well, or we'd simply wait. It is almost night, is it not?
Still,
Well, I don't suggest
good.
waiting.
Still a good few hours away, isn't it?
I don't
Yeah,
suggest
there's-
waiting here, but like, yeah.
There's still quite a bit of time. There's about, I'd say that you've maybe spent, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 hours since the session started. So you've still got roughly 7 hours before nighttime.
Oh goodness.
Yeah.
Well,
And he probably won't be there immediately at night then.
I'm just not quite sure how to broach the topic with these cheerful individuals. I'd hate to ruin the party, you know?
Mm-hmm. Well, anyone want to look around? Maybe look at the people or see for any other details?
I do actually want to look at the people some more.
Okay. They have also not taken notice. They seem to be kind of enjoying themselves.
In particular, I'm on a lookout for any obvious, like, I don't know, gang affiliation or anything. And otherwise, anything else that might strike my interest.
Go ahead and make a perception.
I'll, shoulder.
Thank. 14.
14. Well, it seems pretty apparent to you. These are definitely gang members. Just by kind of the glance, while most of them are like wearing some sort of worker attire, the handkerchief or the safety helmet, they definitely have a pretty loose, you know, they're not really like wearing it properly. A lot of them aren't even wearing the full uniform, and many of them definitely look like these guys. Like these are some hard-looking individuals. Like they definitely do other things other than just work at the scrapyard.
Okay.
um, yeah, there's just a very rough look about them, and even their behavior sort of betrays it, as some of them are rather quick to anger, and rather than laughing it off, they definitely take some pretty meaty swings at each other. But it's quickly ended. But it's definitely one of those, just like, yeah, this is not how we pal around. Like, this is some real roughhousing.
You know what? On second thought, actually, on second glance too, maybe we don't talk to them unless we really need to.
Oh, oh,
Bad
if you say
impression.
so.
They are definitely gangers in some
Yep.
form, and they may, in fact, even be working for the guy we're after. And
That's what
I
I
bet they
figured.
wouldn't be too keen on us asking about after it.
I feared as much. Not everyone can be as friendly as the rest.
No. A lot of people are not actually as friendly as the rat.
The rat
Another
judges.
reason to be around.
Are there any buildings of any description? Whether they're, proper or just kind of makeshift, or like a lean-to or something?
Within that fenced area, there's a
Yeah.
couple lean-tos, and they seem to be holding, like, inside the lean-to. There's usually some kind of like work machine that's kind of housed by it. So some kind of big machines usually sitting inside these lean-tos. But there's nothing really of a large particular building. There is, however, some sort of like a wedge frame holding up. That's sort of like almost like it's buried onto or under the mountain, and there appears to be like, it looks like there's something built under, like, into the mountain of scrap itself.
Okay. We might want to get in there.
Actually,
But I
Maybe a
think
bit
that-
difficult.
That might hinge on whether or not these guys are working for Karasi.
Yeah.
Do we test something along those?
What was that?
Oh, how do we test something like that?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Well, it would involve talking to them.
How? We just wandered in and said something along the lines
Well-
of, "Boss has new orders."
Well,
So
actually,
someone says,
not the direction I was planning on going.
Oh,
Easy way to
well.
ask if someone. Easy way to figure out if someone is someone else's lackey is to tell them that their boss is a fuckhead.
Oh. Well,
You
that's awfully
might take a
rude.
fist to the face.
Starting a fight.
Yeah? Eyes emojis.
I'd rather not scrap with these individuals, but if that is your prerogative, then
Other option, sneak in. Not really too keen on that. Not without knowing what else is in there.
It might be a bit hard with all the people in the yard.
Yeah.
we're done with talking then?
Well, I could ask nicely, but
How about we start off asking nicely, but we'll be on standby.
Sleepy. I got raided by Sleepy.
Oh, I was like, yeah, me too, bud.
it is basically 2 a.m. for me.
Yeah, it do be getting late. Hey Sleepy, how's it going, man? Oh, I'm gonna let you guys discuss your plans.
The smart
And
thing
I'm,
would be to not try and start shit. However,
Okay. While that's going on. Hey Sleepy, what's going on, man? What's new? Thanks for the raid. How you been? I'm guessing you were doing the 7 Days to Die, if I recall. I saw you were on earlier, but I've been kind of prepping for this. Oh, is my thing working? Okay, yeah, it is working. Cool. Yeah, thanks for popping on in, man. We're just going through our going through session 1. Probably won't have too much left, but yeah, we're doing Broznov campaign. We got the junkyard going on. So right now, currently, the party is looking after a guy who pretty much robbed from a merchant, and the merchant was carrying a rare good that another third party has been interested. BRB? Okay, yeah, no problem. We'll just, give you the rundown another time. I gotta get back to my group. Anyways, thanks for raiding.
Really mean we have to fight. We can just talk it through. But knowing how things
Guys.
go around, get ready for a fight.
yeah. I mean, hey, look, I called Crossy fuckhead, and if they are his lackeys, then they're gonna be like, "You say what?" If they're not, they're just like, "Yeah, he's a fuckhead."
Yeah.
I'm like, oh well, I mean, answer our question regardless. Either they don't care, or they definitely care.
Pick a fight
Yeah,
with
I
old
see a win
Karazi's
here.
boys.
Yeah.
That might be the
Exactly.
fastest way to get it done.
And I want to talk to them, and if they actually are his lackeys, then they're not gonna. Look, they're gangsters. They're not gonna just
Yeah.
happily answer questions like that when we're deliberately trying to mess with their boss. So
Yep.
I have faith in you. I'll follow your lead.
Either we mutually laugh at one person, or we get into a fight. I see this as an absolute win.
I don't know if I agree with that, but I know we only met 5.5 hours ago, but I think we're gonna do big things. So if this is the play, this is the play.
Yeah. Lead ahead, my friend.
Time to scrap in the scrapyard.
I mean, we'll find out if my suspicions are correct. Maybe. Yeah. Is there like a gate or something?
Yeah, it's like a not really like a big, but it's like it's a quite a rusty chain link fence. But there's a gate. The gate is not locked. It's just really just like a yard gate that's just there.
I will move in somewhat, like just like push it open.
Yep. And of course, it gives a very loud, distinct squeak as it like swings open, and it does catch the attention of the of the workers.
Hey,
Good.
hey,
And immediately they're like, "Hey, what you want?"
you guys work for Karazi?
I was like, "Who wants to know?"
Me.
Just a couple of dudes.
Cora's just gonna watch.
It's a simple yes or no question, fella.
We don't do yes and no's around here. We deal in go away. Now how about you make do and scat?
I'm gonna draw my short sword.
Oh damn.
Yep.
Well, I still got questions. I'm just wondering how many teeth I have to break before I get them. Before I get my answers.
Yep, that immediately just they're just like, oh,
There
it's
we go.
on now. And immediately they just draw their weapons. So that's gonna be initiative.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna
I
pull
don't know
my.
if we should do right now, but
Quantify right now.
Do you guys want to put a pin on this and fight?
Right now.
It might be a
Shit,
good
like,
idea.
yeah.
I do have.
We'll put a pin on this then, and we will set up for the fight next time.
Okay.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Jen. No fight.
No, it's okay.
It's honestly the perfect drop-off point. I was thinking about like kind of putting it into a cliffhanger here.
Oh, no.
So-
Yeah, I was kind of expecting it, but
You may all get beat up. That is a pretty good cliffhanger.
We'll see if we do get beat up.
Next time on Broznov, the gang gets beat up. Which gang? Find out next time.
One of them.
look, what can I say? Taylor's still a thug at heart.
Hell yeah!
Good.
But yeah, so that's session. Well, that's halfway of session 1. I'll still retain the same kind of rulings I've been doing, which is to say, continuous nat 1s for skill checks will result in an advantage roll at my discretion. But that's
Fair.
only gonna. But after session 1, that's gonna carry on, or that's not gonna carry on. Meaning that if you continue to just roll lots of 1s, then this is probably gonna be a very short-lived campaign, unfortunately.
Don't worry, Cora's about to become very touchy-feely. Everyone's gonna be getting guidance all the time.
Oh my god.
Please.
No such thing as personal space when we all roll like shit.
Dang. But yeah, so that'll be the cliffhanger. It'll be interesting to see how you guys play out your fight. I cannot wait.
Yeah, me too.
But we'll still have to. For now, I'm just gonna go ahead and sign us off, and then just toss the raid over to someone else, just so I can kind of wrap this up, and then I'll get back to you guys real quick. Yeah. Alrighty. So I will BRB.
Right.
Alrighty. Well, unfortunately, Sleepy, you kind of came in right at the end of things. My players are kind of exhausted. But yeah, thank you so much for dropping on by, guys, and thanks for tuning in. We will be continuing, probably not next week, but the week after, to continue off the second half of Session 1. And we will see how this fight pans out. The party has got a lead, and they're looking for Karazi. Looking for Karazi, the dwarf who's responsible for stealing the jewelry box from their clients. Well, not their client, but from the guy who stole from their clients. So that's something that we will pick up on another time. In the meantime, let's go ahead and toss this group to another very, very amazing streamer. Not to say that I'm not amazing, or that I am amazing, because I'm I'm okay. But I see a couple folks. I see Mao. I see Zen. I'm gonna send you guys over to Zen actually, and we will yeah, catch you later. Let's go ahead and start the raid. Yeah, this will probably be the while my game is on hiatus. This is probably gonna be this is going to be the campaign that will be running for Broznov, which I'll get into more detail as the story progresses and as things continue on. So, yep. Let's go ahead and raid Zen, because it's been a minute since I've done anything for them. There we go. Alright. Zen's playing a spooky game, I think, so that's gonna be fun. I'll catch you guys later. Have a good night. Wait,
Oh
what
my god, BK. Thank you for the raid, welcome in, Raiders.
the?